Chapter 1563. A slightly hot breeze brushed past Tang Ao's long hair. Tang Ao stretched out his hand and tucked his long hair behind his temples before continuing forward. Behind Tang Ao, Blood Scar's hands were behind his head, and he was chewing on a piece of grass as he walked leisurely. This was clearly the abnormally dangerous Scarlet Blood Wasteland, but Blood Scar didn't seem to know what danger was. He seemed completely defenseless. Tang Ao and Blood Scar had already walked through this mountain range for half a day. In this half a day, the two of them had stopped once. Tang Ao's blood essence had been drained by Blood Scar when he used Blood Shadow Escape. Even now, Tang Ao hadn't recovered. However, although Tang Ao hadn't recovered to his peak state, it was enough to walk through this mountain range. In the Scarlet Wasteland, everyone, including Tang Ao, had their soul remembrance suppressed. Now, when Tang Ao swept his soul remembrance out, he saw a paradise with red flowers and green grass. However, when Tang Ao used his glasses or heavenly polar pupils to observe, this place was still a scarlet-red space. However, this place was different from where Tang Ao and Blood Scar were. This place was no longer a plain. Instead, there were hills, mountain ranges, and patches of forest. Previously, Tang Ao had come to this place in a muddle-headed manner, but even now, Tang Ao hadn't found a way to leave. After Tang Ao and Blood Scar walked for a while, Blood Scar's closed eyes suddenly opened and he said indifferently, "There's the smell of blood." Blood Scar's tone was very normal, as if the smell of blood in this place was very normal. Although Tang Ao didn't smell any blood, Tang Ao still trusted this fellow. Because Blood Scar's cultivation method, martial technique, and even his awakened life soul were related to blood, it was understandable that Blood Scar was very sensitive to blood. Under Blood Scar's lead, Tang Ao followed closely behind Blood Scar into the dense forest ahead. As he got closer, Tang Ao could sense the collision of Yuan Qi. Clearly, there were martial artists fighting in the dense forest. Both Xue Hen and Tang Ao were experts who had experienced hundreds of battles. Although their current cultivation base was not even 1/10,000th of their peak, the two of them were still able to move through the jungle with great agility. This was especially true for Xue Hen. He was a martial artist known for his agility, so when he moved his body skill, he looked like a cloud of blood mist drifting in the forest. Not long after, Tang Ao also smelled the scent of blood. Activating the sky polar eyes, Tang Ao saw that there were indeed many warriors fighting in front of him. And the reason these warriors were fighting was because of a blood-colored flower growing on a dark red crystal. Seeing this blood-colored lotus, Tang Ao thought to himself that Xue Hen's luck was really good. Naturally, Tang Ao knew this blood-colored lotus. It was called the Three-Treasure Blood Lotus, which was a kind of ungraded treasure that contained majestic blood qi. In other places, this kind of ungraded spiritual herb was very rare. Some spiritual herbs were classified as ungraded because these spiritual herbs were too special, so they didn't know which grade was appropriate. However, the Three-Treasure Blood Lotus was different. The reason why the Three-Treasure Blood Lotus was classified as an ungraded spiritual herb was that it appeared too rarely. In his life, the Shennong Emperor had only seen the Three-Treasure Blood Lotus 3 times. 3 times sounded like a lot, but it was important to know that the Shennong Emperor had been dealing with spiritual herbs all his life. It was unknown how many kinds of spiritual herbs he had seen every day. Chapter 1564. If Tang Ao had been in his peak state, he would have been able to snatch the Three-Treasure Blood Lotus easily. At that instant, the leaders of the 3 groups of people were fighting. All 3 of them were at the first level of the Origin Realm, but other than the 3 of them, there were no other Origin Realm martial artists on the field. With Tang Ao's current cultivation, only Origin Realm warriors could threaten Tang Ao. As for body-refining realm warriors, they weren't much of a threat to Tang Ao. However, the blood essence that Tang Ao had used before hadn't completely recovered, so Tang Ao was a bit weak. Thus, Tang Ao didn't attack rashly. Tang Ao had heavenly polar eyes, so Tang Ao already knew that the treasure that everyone was fighting over was the 3-treasure blood lotus. However, Xue Hen's soul remembrance was limited, so he didn't know what the dense blood aura was. Even so, Xue Hen was still very excited. This was because the aura emitted by this unknown treasure made him feel a kind of pure blood qi essence. Something that could emit such an aura was definitely a treasure among treasures to Xue Hen. When Xue Hen entered and took a closer look, he saw a glossy dark red crystal stone with a blood-colored lotus flower that looked like a red crystal in full bloom. Even with Xue Hen's experience, he couldn't recognize what it was. What treasure is this? I didn't expect this place to have such a thing. Although he hadn't been reborn for long, Xue Hen's eyesight from his previous life was still there. Thus, Xue Hen immediately knew that this was a low-level plane that only had Yuan Qi. Similarly, Xue Hen estimated that if one only cultivated Yuan Qi, the first level of the origin realm was the limit of a warrior in this place. Because of this, the Bloodscar wasn't particularly interested in this place. After all, such a low-level plane couldn't possibly have anything good. It was just trash. However, Xue Hen didn't expect to be slapped in the face so quickly. Although Xue Hen didn't know what treasure it was, based on the dense blood aura from the 3-treasure blood lotus, he could tell that the rank of this blood lotus was probably not lower than a rank 3 immortal spirit herb. This blood lotus was even more precious to a martial artist like him who cultivated a blood cultivation method. This is the legendary 3-treasures blood lotus. You're really lucky to be able to encounter such a treasure here. Although the triple-treasure blood lotus was a spiritual herb without a grade, it was at least a Tier 3 immortal spiritual herb. This 3-treasure blood lotus has already grown 9 petals and 9 seeds. As long as you can make it into a 3-treasure blood lotus pellet, I am afraid you will be able to recover to the peak of astral reaching realm level 9 very soon, and you will even be able to surpass the limit of your previous life. After saying that, Tang Ao paused for a moment before continuing. In addition to using these 9 lotus seeds to refine the 3-treasures blood lotus pill, this 3-treasures blood lotus can also be used to refine a life-bound magic treasure with your soul blood. Tang Ao had read about these things in the collection of herbs and the alchemy notes of the Shennong Emperor. However, the alchemy notes of the Shennong Emperor only mentioned that the seeds of the 3-treasure blood lotus could be used to refine elixirs, but it didn't mention that the 3-treasure blood lotus could be used to refine weapons. Chapter 1565. After Tang Ao explained the 3-treasures blood lotus in detail, Bloodscar looked at Tang Ao with his mouth wide open in shock. In his previous life, Bloodscar had been Tang Ao's sworn enemy. Therefore, just like Tang Ao knew him, Bloodscar also knew Tang Ao very well. According to what Bloodscar knew, although Tang Ao had also practiced alchemy in his previous life, he had only learned a little bit. Although Tang Ao's array Dao was quite powerful, it was still far inferior to his. As for Tang Ao's knowledge of these natural treasures, Bloodscar felt that he knew less than half of them. However, what surprised Bloodscar was that after Tang Ao had been reborn, something had happened to him. He actually knew about treasures like the 3-treasures blood lotus. Seeing Bloodscar looking at him in shock, Tang Ao immediately said calmly, "Don't be surprised. I will slowly tell you about these common spiritual herbs in the future." Tang Ao was trying hard to hold back his laughter as he said this. After all, this was the first time even Tang Ao had seen the 3-treasures blood lotus. Moreover, Tang Ao was different from Bloodscar, who had just been reborn. Tang Ao had been reborn for a long time and had cultivated to the life and death realm. Even so, this was the first time Tang Ao had seen the 3-treasures blood lotus in his 2 lives. Bloodscar was skeptical about Tang Ao's words. He could tell from Tang Ao's expression that he was not lying. However, if Tang Ao was right and the three treasures blood lotus was a common spiritual herb, then there was no reason for Blood Scar not to recognize it. Because of his cultivation technique, Blood Scar knew about all treasures of the blood attribute. However, this was the first time he had heard about the three treasures blood lotus. Although this was the first time Xue Hen had heard of it, he could tell that Tang Ao was not lying. The bloody aura coming from the three treasures blood lotus was very dense. Previously, Xue Hen had been attracted by this bloody aura from afar. However, when Blood Scar thought of Tang Ao's words just now, he felt both excited and helpless. Blood Scar had never doubted that he would be able to reach the peak level 9 astral reaching realm in this life, or even higher. However, he had never thought that he would be able to run into an opportunity like the three treasure blood lotus. However, according to Tang Ao, the elixir concocted with the seeds of the three treasures blood lotus should have reached the level of an immortal elixir. However, in a low-level realm like the Flying Star Continent, even spirit alchemists were only first-grade alchemists. As for immortal alchemists, it was absolutely impossible. Not to mention the Flying Star Continent, even the Black-Yellow Continent did not have immortal alchemy masters. Therefore, even if Xue Hen obtained a treasure like the three treasures blood lotus, he still couldn't use it because he couldn't find an alchemy master to help him refine pills. Therefore, even if he obtained the three treasure blood lotus, he could only keep it in his storage ring. He had no practical use for it. Thinking of this, Blood Scar felt even more helpless. Although it was easy to survive after being reborn in a low-level realm like this, the progress of cultivation was very limited. If he only cultivated the sacred blood god code to the peak level 9 astral reaching realm and then broke through the space barrier to leave this place, it would take him at least 10,000 years. However, if he were in a high-level realm right now, as long as there was an alchemist who could concoct the three treasures blood lotus pellet, he would be able to return to the peak and reach a higher level. Chapter 1566. However, Blood Scar didn't know that Tang Ao had received the Shennong Emperor's alchemy inheritance, and his understanding of alchemy was deepening day by day. As long as Tang Ao's soul remembrance could recover a little more, Tang Ao was even confident that he could concoct an immortal pill in the near future. At the same time, Tang Ao also knew the way to recover his soul power. It was the star flower outside Qin Yun village. According to the 100 Herb Collection, the star flower could absorb any form of heaven and earth spiritual energy. The so-called heaven and earth spiritual energy didn't just refer to a single form of power. Other than spiritual energy, it also included immortal spiritual energy, yuan qi, and even chaotic aura. In Tang Ao's chaotic hexagram mirror space, there was chaotic aura. Unfortunately, Tang Ao couldn't use this chaotic aura. However, Tang Ao could use the star flower to absorb and convert it. Therefore, Tang Ao's next step was to move the star flower in the natural trap formation forest, or rather, the entire forest into his chaotic hexagram mirror space. Transferring an entire forest into the primal chaos hexlight mirrors space might sound like a fantasy, but it was not impossible for Tang Ao. As long as he set up a relocation formation around the forest, he could move the star flower forest into the chaotic hexagram mirror space. Then, the star flower could absorb and convert the chaotic aura in the chaotic hexagram mirror space. After the chaotic aura was converted into rich life force, Tang Ao's Jade Bone Life Soul could absorb this life force and use it to recover. Tang Ao's Jade Bone Life Soul was a powerful 29th level Sky Life Soul. As long as the Jade Bone Life Soul recovered to the 29th level Sky, Tang Ao could use the Jade Bone Life Soul to repair his damaged spiritual C and soul C. Although the Jade Bone Life Soul was also repairing Tang Ao's soul C and spiritual C, the recovery speed was too slow. Once the Jade Bone Life Spirit recovered to its peak, Tang Ao believed that the Jade Bone Life Spirit would be able to repair his shattered spiritual sea and soul sea in a short period of time as a powerful life spirit of the 29th heaven. After his spirit ocean and soul ocean were repaired, Tang Ao's 9 dragons Emperor Jade body would be revitalized once again. In its peak state, even if it absorbed Yuan Qi, it would still be able to reach the peak of astral reaching realm level 9. Tang Ao had the same idea as Bloodscar. Tang Ao also felt that only peak level 9 astral reaching realm would be able to break open this surreal space and leave this place. However, Tang Ao was a bit worried. Even if his 9 dragon Emperor Jade body recovered, it would not be easy for him to reach the peak of astral reaching realm level 9. Tang Ao estimated that without 5,000 years, it was basically impossible for Tang Ao to absorb and refine essence qi to return to his peak. After such a long time, Tang Ao's cultivation would increase, and his lifespan would increase as well. Therefore, it would not be too much of a problem for Tang Ao. However, in this place, Chu Xuehan could not cultivate at all. By the time Tang Ao was worried that he would be able to break open this surreal space, Chu Xuehan would have already passed away. Fortunately, things had taken a turn for the better. Previously, Shi Tianyun had said that once he collected all 8 meteorite tokens, there would be a way to leave this place. Besides that, the appearance of Yuan crystals had also given Tang Ao a new hope. Chapter 1567. If Yang Miao and Han Yen hadn't interfered, Tang Ao would have collected quite a lot of essence crystals. However, because of Yang Miao and Han Yen, Tang Ao only had a few essence crystals on him. Forget it, I'll find a place to improve my cultivation. This treasure is good, but I can't use it now. After weighing the pros and cons, Xue Hen decided to give up on the 3-treasure blood lotus flower. According to Tang Ao, the 3-treasure blood lotus flower was beneficial to him. However, he couldn't find an alchemy master who could refine the 3-treasure blood lotus pill now that he had it. Why can't I use it? When your cultivation level increases, you and I will plunder the Evergreen Valley. Don't think that there are no good things here just because it's a low-level continent. The 2-handed sword in the hands of that silver-haired beauty is a top-notch Grade 1 immortal weapon. Tang Ao had indeed seen quite a number of decent treasures in the Hidden Dragon Cave. This time, after seeing the complete Grade 1 immortal artifact in Han Yan's hands, Tang Ao felt that Evergreen Valley was even more extraordinary. According to you, the 3-treasure blood lotus pill is a Grade 1 immortal pill. Although the treasures here are good, are you sure you can find a Grade 1 alchemy master here? Xue Hen shook his head and said helplessly. If there was a Grade 1 alchemy master, as long as he refined the 3-treasure blood lotus flower into an elixir, he would be able to recover his cultivation level quickly and leave this place. I'm just a Grade 1 alchemy master, Tang Ao said as he pointed at himself. Ha ha ha, are you joking? Xue Hen chuckled when he heard Tang Ao's words. Then, he said, why don't you say that you're a Grade 1 alchemy master? Xue Hen couldn't help but laugh. Xue Hen sighed inwardly. It seemed like people who had been reborn had changed a lot. Tang Ao, who had been invincible in his previous life, liked to boast in this life. However, Tang Ao nodded seriously at Xue Hen's words. Then, Tang Ao said, although I'm not a Grade 1 celestial weapon master yet, I should be able to break through to Grade 1 celestial weapon master very soon once my cultivation base recovers to the life and death realm. There was a huge difference between alchemy and blacksmithing. Alchemy didn't require a lot of spirit qi, but it required a lot of soul remembrance. Therefore, even some martial artists with weak cultivation could become very powerful alchemists. However, it was different for blacksmith. If their cultivation was not high enough, they would not even be able to smelt spiritual materials, let alone blacksmithing. Hearing this, Bloodscar could not be bothered to continue the conversation with Tang Ao. Now, Bloodscar was also considering how he could obtain the 3 treasures Blood Lotus if he didn't give up. Although there were quite a few martial artists here, most of them did not pose any threat to Xuehen and Tang Ao. Only the 3 first-level Origin Realm martial artists and the few 9th-level Body Refinement Realm martial artists who were fighting on the side were a bit hard to deal with. "What do you think?" Bloodscar asked Tang Ao after thinking for a while. "Rob and run." After Bloodscar asked, Tang Ao solemnly said these 4 words. Surprisingly, Bloodscar didn't refute this time. Obviously, Bloodscar also felt that Tang Ao's plan was feasible. Chapter 1568. It's not that simple. After Xuehen finished speaking, Tang Ao said indifferently, "Normally, a heavenly treasure of this level would definitely be guarded by a monster. Otherwise, if it was left unguarded in the wild, Tang Ao didn't believe that no other monster or human martial artist had discovered this 3 treasure Blood Lotus after such a long time." Within Tang Ao's eyes, a deep blue spirituality suddenly flashed. Shortly after, under Tang Ao's gaze, the surroundings became incomparably clear. Due to his soul remembrance being disrupted, Tang Ao didn't notice that there were other martial artists besides him and Xuehen. Tang Ao looked around. Aside from him and Xuehen, there were 4 other fellows. Among these 4, there was a first-level Origin Martial Realm martial artist and 3 9th-level Body Refining Realm martial artists. Tang Ao recognized 2 of these 4 martial artists. Among them, the 9th-level Body Refining Realm Tang Ao recognized Zhang Zifen and Yan Shuang. Although Tang Ao didn't recognize the Origin Martial Realm martial artist, he had seen this person beside Zhang Zifen before. He seemed to be Zhang Zifen's guard. At this moment, Zhang Zifen was also using his golden pupils to observe the surroundings. However, Tang Ao and Xuehen were too far away. Even now, Zhang Zifen still hadn't discovered Tang Ao and Xuehen. At this moment, Tang Ao saw more people coming over. This time there were quite a few people. Among them were some martial artists that Tang Ao had seen on the VIP seats at the pill refining platform. However, Tang Ao didn't recognize any of these people. However, after these people arrived, they also hid in the shadows and didn't immediately show themselves. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. This was something that everyone was happy to do. However, Tang Ao's gaze didn't linger on these people for too long. Tang Ao looked at the 3 treasure Blood Lotus in the center of the crowd that looked like a red crystal. Under the gaze of the heavenly pole eyes, Tang Ao also saw what was hidden under the 3 treasure Blood Lotus. At this moment, in the dark red crystal under the 3 treasure Blood Lotus, there was a blood-red skeleton quietly sitting. After the martial artists in the battle died, the blood seemed to be attracted by something and flowed towards the blood-red skeleton. Then, it was absorbed by the blood-red skeleton. At first, Xuehen didn't notice it, but he quickly realized that something was wrong. As a martial artist that cultivated blood qi, he was already very sensitive to blood qi. Because of this, Bloodscar closed his eyes and sensed for a moment before he said to Tang Ao, "There is something under that crystal, it is very strong." When Bloodscar said that it was very strong, he already wanted to leave this place. Xuehen thought that even if he risked it, he wouldn't be able to use the 3 Blood Lotus, so he wouldn't be. He would. Even he and Tang Ao couldn't be certain that they could defeat all the cultivators there. Besides, Xuehen felt the aura of the 3rd level of the Origin Realm from the blood-red skull. But now, Tang Ao was only at the 8th level of the Body Refining Realm, and Xuehen was only at the 5th level of the Body Refining Realm. But now, Tang Ao was only at the 8th level of the Body Refining Realm, and Xuehen was only at the 5th level of the Body Refining Realm. At this moment, even if the 2 of them had more tricks up their sleeves, they wouldn't be a match for the 3rd level of the Origin Martial Realm. There is indeed a blood-red skeleton under that crystal. Are you able to control this kind of monster that cultivates blood chi? As long as you can control this skeleton, you will be able to move freely in this area for a short period of time. Different from Xuehen, Tang Ao didn't want to give up on the 3 treasure blood lotus. Chapter 1569. As long as Xuehen's cultivation recovered, Xuehen could completely bring Chu Xuehan and himself away. As for whether or not Xuehen would harm him after his cultivation recovered, Tang Ao could only say that he trusted Xuehen too much. After Xuehen had a soul imprint, Xuehen could not harm him even if he wanted to. As for helping Xuehen remove the soul imprint, Tang Ao felt that as long as he did not want to die, he would not have that thought. At least before Tang Ao's strength recovered, Tang Ao would definitely not help Xuehen remove the soul imprint. The monster is coming out. Just as Xuehen was about to speak, Tang Ao hastily said. Just as Tang Ao finished speaking, half of the crimson crystal immediately split open. Shortly after, a skeleton bathed in blood slowly stood up. The reason why the skeleton suddenly came out was naturally because a first-level Origin Realm martial artist pulled out the 3 treasure blood lotus. However, before the first-level Origin Realm martial artist could even put the 3 treasure blood lotus into his storage ring, he was frightened by the blood-colored skeleton that came out from the crimson crystal. Also at that time, the blood-colored skeleton suddenly extended its bone claw towards the first-level Origin Realm martial artist's chest. Without waiting for the martial artist to come back to his senses, the blood-colored skeleton's bone claw once again extended out from his chest. Along with the bone claw, a bloody heart also came out. A peak first-level Origin Realm martial artist was actually killed in an instant without being able to resist at all. Everyone was frightened by that scene, but Tang Ao and Xuehen knew the difference between a martial artist at the 3rd level of the Origin Realm and a martial artist at the 1st level of the Origin Realm. So, the two of them did not have much of a reaction. Although the blood-colored skeleton's move scared quite a few people out of their wits, greed easily overcame fear. When the blood-colored skeleton crushed the Origin Realm martial artist's heart and started to absorb the aura of blood, a 9th-level body refinement realm martial artist that was hiding in the dark actually scattered a handful of mithril powder towards the blood-colored skeleton. Shortly after, he hooked his hand and took away the 3 treasure blood lotus from the blood-colored skeleton's hand. After the 3 treasures blood lotus was snatched away, the scarlet skeleton immediately roared furiously. However, the cultivator who snatched the 3 treasure blood lotus did not feel happy for long. Someone charged out from behind him and chopped him in half. After killing the martial artist with the long saber immediately shouted to his surroundings, "Whoever dares to take a step forward, die." That person was a powerful person at the 1st level of the Origin Realm. Just now, when he sneak attacked, he killed a martial artist at the 9th level of the body refinement realm with 1 strike. Thus, when he said this, no one stepped forward to snatch it. However, not long after, a martial artist squeezed through the crowd and shouted, "Old 6th Ma, who are you trying to scare?" The person who spoke was a burly bald man. After saying this, he swung his sandbag-sized fist towards the warrior named Ma Laolu. With this punch, the 3 treasures blood lotus in Ma Laolu's hand was sent flying. Shortly after, the scene immediately became chaotic. In an instant, everyone started to fight over the 3 treasures blood lotus. As for the skeleton that reached the 3rd level of the Origin Realm, for some reason, he was endlessly howling where he stood. He seemed to really want to go and take back the 3 treasures blood lotus, but he seemed to be trapped by something and he had no way of leaving that area. Chapter 1570. It was like a trap. As long as one touched the 3 treasures blood lotus, the skeleton with terrifying power would be released. And just at that time, a scene that made Tang Ao's head hurt appeared. For some unknown reason, a martial artist seemed to feel that he had no hope of getting the three treasures blood lotus, so he set his sights on the dark red crystal. He raised the hammer in his hand and very cleanly and efficiently smashed the dark red crystal into many pieces. Seeing that, many surrounding martial artists immediately swarmed up and started to fight over the crystal pieces. But they did not notice that in the instant the crystal was smashed, the skeleton that was originally at the same place suddenly leaped up and flew towards the three treasures blood lotus in the air. At that instant, a martial artist who just got the three treasures blood lotus immediately felt a chill on his back before he could even warm it up. Immediately after, there was a heart-tearing and lung-splitting pain because that martial artist was torn into two by the skeleton. The scene was very bloody, but the blood did not scare the crowd away. Instead, because of the stimulation of the blood, many martial artists attacked the skeleton even more crazily. Although the blood-red skeleton's own cultivation was at the third level of the origin realm, under the combined attacks of the crowd, the blood-red skeleton could not take it. It was forced back by the crowd's origin realm, and the three treasures blood lotus in its hand was also engulfed by a bloody mist. Immediately after, the bloody mist flew into the distance. Naturally, the bloody mist was Xuehen. After Xuehen took the three treasures blood lotus, he immediately arrived next to Tang Ao. Tang Ao did not dare to be the slightest bit slow. With a thought, the wind thunder infernal cloud was summoned. Immediately after, the crowd heard a burst of thunder in the air, and immediately after, Tang Ao and Xuehen's figures completely disappeared in front of the crowd. Although the two of them left very quickly, there were still people who recognized Tang Ao. Wasn't that person Tang Ao just now? One of the martial artists who saw Tang Ao before cried out in surprise. Which Tang Ao? Another person confusedly asked. This was because he had personally witnessed Tang Ao being heavily injured by Yang Miao and Han Yen. It was just that he had left early at that time, so he did not see Tang Ao escape. At that time, he thought that after Yang Miao and Han Yen joined hands, Tang Ao could only die. Where is Tang Ao? Right at this moment, an unusually aged voice resounded in everyone's ears. Everyone turned around and saw an old man with one foot in the grave. Although this old man was very old, some of the warriors present still recognized him. You are Senior Hua Yuan from the Dan Alliance? After asking this question, the martial artist cursed himself for talking too much. Who else could this old man be but Hua Yuan? Because there was no change to the Hua Yuan he saw 10 years ago, he couldn't help but ask. However, he also knew that this old man had a strange temper, so he immediately said, Alchemist Tang Ao just snatched a treasure here and has already escaped. Nonsense? This treasure is yours. You said that Tang Ao snatched a treasure? Hua Yuan, who originally had a solemn expression, narrowed his eyes and said with a glare. The martial artist was stunned by Hua Yuan's question and hurriedly said, That blood lotus naturally does not belong to me. Chapter 1571. This dark red crystal had just been hammered, but only the surface was slightly cracked. Hua Yuan walked up and looked at it with his old eyes. His face immediately lit up. Shortly after, Hua Yuan asked, Whose is this? Hua Yuan's question instantly stunned everyone. Whose was this? Could it be that this belonged to the blood-colored skeleton? But right now, that blood-colored skeleton had already chased after Tang Ao. And, since it was also born, then I won't be polite. After Hua Yuan finished speaking, under everyone's astonished gazes, he unceremoniously put away the blood-colored crystal and immediately left in the direction Tang Ao left. Everyone looked at Hua Yuan's departing figure and felt as if they had eaten a fly. Although there were a few Origin Realm martial artists here, these people didn't have any temper at all. Who was Hua Yuan? He was a person that could rival the Flying Star Alliance's Alliance Master, Lu Chuanjia. Although they were all Origin Realm martial artists, They knew that even if the people here were added together, it wouldn't be enough to fight Hua Yuan. Thus, they could only silently curse their bad luck and leave in all directions. Although there were still a few shattered crystals scattered on the ground, these Origin Realm martial artists had no interest in them. A sudden clap of thunder exploded in the air. Tang Ao and Xue Hen fell into a valley. After landing on the ground, Tang Ao immediately gasped for air. The Wind Thunder Dark Cloud was indeed useful, but the energy consumption of the Wind Thunder Dark Cloud was not a joke. He had only flown for less than an incense stick of time, and it was even at the slowest speed, but Tang Ao's energy was already almost used up. As for the skeleton that chased after him, Tang Ao couldn't even see it with the heavenly extreme pupils. According to Underworld Emperor, the Wind Thunder Dark Cloud's speed could be ranked in the top 3 of all speed treasures in the world. A mere skeleton at the 3rd level of the Origin Realm wanted to chase after the Fenglai Mingyun? That was simply wishful thinking. However, Tang Ao left a soul remembrance mark on the blood-colored skeleton. Now that Tang Ao was not in a good state, he could only escape. However, after Tang Ao's cultivation broke through to the 9th level of the body refinement realm, Tang Ao could attempt to use the underworld life soul to control the skeleton. One had to know that the leaders of the 8 overlords of the Flying Star Continent were only at the 1st level of the Origin Realm. If Tang Ao had the skeleton at the 3rd level of the Origin Realm, he could immediately go and save Chu Xuehan. As for solving the problem of the Murong family, that was something that was even easier and more enjoyable. As long as the Murong family does not reject it, Tang Ao can even let the skeleton stay with the Murong family. But these were just thoughts, because up until now, Tang Ao hadn't felt any skeletons in the vicinity. After all, the speed of the Wind Thunder Dark Cloud was not something to be messed with. When Tang Ao used it when he was in the life and death realm, his flying speed was already equivalent to the astral reaching realm in his previous life. There is a cave in front. Let's go check it out. After looking around with his sky-polar eyes, Tang Ao found that there was a cave on a cliff not far away. Although it was hundreds of meters away from the ground, it looked very dangerous, but for Tang Ao and Blood Scar, it was really nothing. Soon, the two arrived at the cave. Indeed, this cave was dug out by other warriors. It was obviously an abandoned cave. The area of this cave was quite large, so Tang Ao decided to cultivate in seclusion for a period of time. Right then, Tang Ao took out a couple of formation flags from his storage ring and threw them at the entrance of the cave. Then, a simple restriction was set up. As long as someone came close, Tang Ao would be able to sense it immediately. Blood Scar looked at Tang Ao's extremely skillful method of setting up a formation and was a bit surprised. Because he knew that in his previous life, Tang Ao would definitely not know about formations. Otherwise, he would not have lost to him so many times. However, in this life, he did not know what Tang Ao had gone through to become so proficient in formations. However, Blood Scar did not ask too much. Instead, he took out the 3 treasure blood lotus that he had just robbed. Chapter 1572. Looking at the 3 treasure blood lotus flower in Xue Hen's hand, Tang Ao thought to himself, if he wanted to refine the 3 treasure blood lotus pill, his soul remembrance had to be restored to the life and death realm. Logically speaking, his cultivation had to be restored to the life and death realm as well. However, because the 9 Dragons Emperor Jade Body had given birth to a soul sea, as long as the star flower was transplanted into the hexagram mirror, Tang Ao's Jade Bone Life Spirit could be restored. After the Jade Bone Life Spirit recovered, Tang Ao could use it to restore his soul sea. I still need some time to refine the 3 treasure blood lotus pill. Right now, I need to raise my cultivation to the 9th level of the body refining realm or the origin martial realm, then think of a way to leave this place. Apart from the seeds of the 3 treasure blood lotus pill, I don't have any other spirit herbs on me. Speaking until here, Tang Ao paused for a moment before continuing. However, we can try to search this place. Since there's a treasure like the 3-treasure blood lotus here, there might be other spiritual herbs as well. Then keep this flower first. Give me an illustration of what other spirit herbs you need. Since I can't cultivate here, I might as well go out and try my luck. Xue Hen threw the 3-treasure blood lotus pill to Tang Ao. Unlike Tang Ao, Xue Hen didn't have the 9 dragons emperor jade body, nor was he a martial artist of the flying star continent. Therefore, he was the same as Chu Xuehan in this place. He couldn't use the Yuan Qi here to cultivate. The reason why Xue Hen had a cultivation of the 6th level of the body refining realm was because he cultivated a blood-type cultivation method. Although Xue Hen had cultivated in the black-yellow continent in his previous life, he didn't need spirit qi. Instead, he cultivated the essence of blood qi. It was the same in this life. Because of this, the Yuan Qi of the Flying Star continent couldn't restrict Xue Hen. Alright, take this jade token. Crush it when you encounter danger. I should be able to sense it even in this space. Tang Ao didn't reject Xue Hen's request. Unlike him, even if there was a supreme-grade vitality-augmenting pill, Xue Hen wouldn't be able to absorb and refine it. Therefore, it was not a bad idea to let him go outside to look for spirit herbs to cultivate. It was just that Blood Scar's cultivation level was too low. He was only at the 6th level of the body refining realm. Although Blood Scar's methods were impressive, when facing martial artists in the 9th level of the body refinement realm and origin realm, Bloodscar would most likely not be able to handle them. However, Tang Ao was not too worried. Because in terms of combat power, Xue Hen might not be a match for him. But if it was a competition of escaping, even Tang Ao would have to admit defeat. After Xue Hen left, Tang Ao took out the last essence-augmenting pill. Back then, Tang Ao had refined 3 9-star supreme-grade essence-augmenting pills at the Alchemy Conference. After consuming the first supreme-grade essence-augmenting pill, Tang Ao's cultivation level rose from the 5th level of the body refining realm to the 7th level of the body refining realm. After consuming the second one, Tang Ao's cultivation level rose from the 7th level of the body refining realm to the 8th level of the body refining realm. However, Tang Ao wasn't able to completely absorb and refine the first 2 essence-augmenting pills. The first time, he was attacked by a group of martial artists on the Alchemy Conference. Then, when he passed through the poisonous miasma, he used up most of the essence-augmenting pill's Yuan Qi. The second time he consumed the essence-augmenting pill, it was the same. First, he was affected by the endless skeletons. Then, he was entangled by Yang Miao. This way, Tang Ao could only absorb less than half of the supreme-grade essence-augmenting pill's medicinal power each time. Chapter 1573. In the cave on the cliff, due to the concealment of Tang Ao's formation, one could no longer see that there was a cave here. In the cave, Tang Ao took out the furnace and started to forge the formation flags. With the experience of using the top-quality essence-cultivating pill the last 2 times, Tang Ao knew that if he only relied on the 9 Dragons Emperor Jade body to absorb and refine the top-quality essence-cultivating pill, he would not be able to fully use the surging essence in the top-quality essence-cultivating pill. According to the Shenong Emperor's notes, Tang Ao knew that it was difficult for this type of martial artists to absorb and refine the pills, so he had to use some external methods. The most common method was to use the pill transformation pool. The so-called pill transformation pool could also be said to be a type of medicinal bath. It was to use a formation to set up a special medicinal pool, then put some special spirit medicines into the medicinal pool. Finally, the pill that needed to be used would be put into the medicinal pool. Through the guidance of the medicinal pool, the medicinal effects of the pill would be completely released, finally achieving the goal of absorbing and refining the pill. This time, Tang Ao also prepared to set up such a medicinal pool to absorb and refine the top-quality essence cultivating pill. Although the 9th level of the body refining realm and the 1st level of the origin realm were only one level apart, the effect on Tang Ao was still huge. Just like right now, Tang Ao's cultivation at the 8th level of the body refining realm could already fight with Yang Miao, a martial artist at the 1st level of the origin realm. But fighting with Yang Miao was already Tang Ao's limit. After adding in Han Yen, Tang Ao could not even last one move before being killed by Han Yen. So if Tang Ao only broke through to the 9th level of the body refining realm, dealing with 1 or 2 origin realm martial artists would not be a problem. But once he was surrounded by many origin realm martial artists, Tang Ao could only run. Even if the opponent had enough people and was strong enough, it would not be easy for Tang Ao to run. Just like before, when Tang Ao was entangled by Yang Miao and Han Yen, if not for Blood Scar using Blood Shadow evasion, Tang Ao could only hide in the Primal Chaos Hexlight Mirror. Although one could hide in the Primal Chaos Hexlight Mirror, it wasn't very safe. The Primal Chaos 6 Light Mirror had a total of 9 layers of restrictions. Previously, when Tang Ao's cultivation base was at the Life and Death realm, he had refined 6 layers of the Primal Chaos 6 Light Mirror's restrictions. But now that Tang Ao's cultivation base had fallen to the body refining realm, only 1 layer of the Primal Chaos 6 Light Mirror's restrictions was effective. If only 1 layer of restriction was effective, then after a martial artist of the origin realm obtained the Primal Hexlight Mirror, they would absolutely be able to refine the restriction. If Tang Ao was inside the Primal Chaos 6 Light Mirror, and the Primal Chaos 6 Light Mirror's restrictions were refined by someone else, then Tang Ao would be finished. With just a thought from someone else, Tang Ao would immediately turn to ashes. Therefore, if one was not in a safe environment, entering the Primal Chaos Hexagram Mirror was an extremely dangerous thing to do. After preparing to set up a core transformation pool, Tang Ao immediately cleared out an empty space in the cave. Then, Tang Ao forged a spirit tool shovel to dig the hole. Although the rocks here were extremely hard, under Tang Ao's spirit tool shovel, the hard rocks were like tofu. The shovel easily broke them, and then Tang Ao shoveled the broken rocks to the side. Tang Ao secretly laughed in his heart. He was an unparalleled demon sovereign, but in this life, he had fallen to the point of digging holes. Even though Tang Ao had such thoughts in his heart, he was still very busy. Not long after, a 3-foot-deep hole was dug by Tang Ao. After using the spirit tool shovel to smooth the edges of the hole, Tang Ao put away the spirit tool shovel. Chapter 1574. In the entire Flying Star continent, apart from the 8 overlord forces, the Alchemy Guild, and the 9-colored Deer Chamber of Commerce that controlled half of the Flying Star continent's wealth, no other forces had a true pill transformation pool. This was because the process required to set up a true Dan pool was too complicated. Moreover, there were too few high-level array masters on the Flying Star continent. The most important part of setting up a Dan pool was the array inside. The higher the level of the array, the better the effect of the Dan pool. The highest level Dan pool could draw out 90% of the medicinal effect of a Dan, while the lower level Dan pool could only draw out 10% to 30%. Among the 10 forces that Tang Ao had mentioned, most of their Dan pools were created by the same array master. Therefore, their Dan pools could only draw out 60% of the medicinal effect of a Dan. In reality, the best Dan pool on the Flying Star continent was not in the 10 forces, but in Zhang Zifen's Idle Mountain Villa. However, Zhang Zifen was usually low-key, and the array master who helped him set up the Dan pool was also not a fan of publicity. Therefore, there were not many people on the Flying Star continent who knew that there was a Dan pool in Idle Mountain Villa that could draw out 70% or even 80% of the medicinal effect of a Dan. But whether it was 60%, 70%, or 80%, they were not what Tang Ao wanted. The Dan pool that Tang Ao was setting up this time was the best one that Tang Ao needed. A Dan pool that could draw out 99% of the medicinal effect of a supreme-grade essence-augmenting pill. Although the jade body of the Nine Dragons Emperor was powerful, it also consumed an astronomical amount of cultivation resources. If it was a normal warrior, a 9-star supreme-grade essence-augmenting pill would definitely allow him to cultivate from the first level of the body refining realm to the peak of the 9th level, or even the origin realm. However, Tang Ao had taken 2 supreme-grade essence-augmenting pills when he was at the 5th level of the body refining realm. But now, Tang Ao's cultivation was only at the 8th level of the body refining realm. Even after taking the 3rd supreme-grade essence-augmenting pill, Tang Ao was not sure if he could break through to the origin realm. In the crafting furnace, the azure flame burned slowly. This azure blue flame was not some special flame, it was just the gathering of the array in the crafting furnace. Although Tang Ao had the netherworld flame, and the temperature of the netherworld flame was very high. But whether it was alchemy or weapon refining, the netherworld flame was not very suitable. Compared to the other special flames in the world, Tang Ao's netherworld flame was more suited to attack. According to Underworld Emperor, the peak of the netherworld flame was the peerlessly tyrannical immortal underworld flame. The immortal underworld flame itself was a flame with a strong attack. Therefore, if Tang Ao had the chance, he would have to look for a good flame to refine pills and weapons. Tang Ao had already refined many array flags, and now refining array flags was similarly a walk in the park. In the blink of an eye, there were 24 array flags in Tang Ao's hands. The array flags needed to arrange the core transformation pond were not many, but the inscriptions carved on each array flag were abnormally complex. Tang Ao grabbed a formation flag and began to use soul remembrance to carve an inscription array on the formation flag. Chapter 1575. At this time, the pill transformation pool's formation had already been set up. The next step was to guide the water into the pill transformation pool. Tang Ao cast out 2 dirt removal techniques in the pill transformation pool, then changed his hand gesture and cast out a cloud gathering technique. These were some very basic secret techniques. Although they looked very magical, they actually did not have any offensive power. In the black-yellow continent, almost every cultivator knew them. However, because these secret techniques did not have any lethality, the frequency of using them was very low. This time, if Tang Ao did not want to set up the pill transformation pool, then Tang Ao would not have used such a very common secret technique. As Tang Ao cast out the cloud gathering technique, the moisture in the surrounding air was immediately pulled by a mysterious force. The moisture in this space slowly gathered above the pill transformation pool, then dripped drop by drop into the pill transformation pool. In just a moment, the pill transformation pool was half filled with clear water. After the water was gathered by the cloud gathering technique, it became spotless and very clear. This kind of water was very suitable to be used as the water in the pill transformation pool. However, almost every cultivator in the black-yellow continent knew the cloud gathering technique, but only a few cultivators in this place knew it. Therefore, the water in the Flying Star Continent's pill transformation pool was mostly spring water in the mountains, and not the unrooted clean water like Tang Ao's. However, compared to Tang Ao's pill transformation pool, the other pill transformation pools were almost all under the mountain springs, so they had an inexhaustible supply of running water all year round. However, Tang Ao's pill transformation pool was stagnant water. If Tang Ao wanted to change the pill transformation pool's water, he would have to use a formation to drain the pill transformation pool's water, and then change it. However, Tang Ao did not need to change the water. After all, this pill transformation pool would only be used by Tang Ao once, and Tang Ao would have to leave this place very soon. After the pill transformation pool was filled with water, Tang Ao took out a few leaves of the passion grass from his storage ring and threw them into the pill transformation pool. The passion herb was a common low-level spirit herb. Even some ordinary forces wouldn't use such a low-level spirit herb to harmonize the medicinal efficacy of the pill pool. However, Tang Ao felt that only the 100 fragrances grass was the most suitable to harmonize the medicinal power of the elixir pool. However, the medicinal effect of the passion herb was too weak. If running water was used, the medicinal effect of the passion herb wouldn't be able to fully display itself. Therefore, many people didn't realize that the passion herb was the most suitable spirit herb for the Dan transformation pond. After Tang Ao threw a few pieces of passion grass into the Dan transformation pool, a refreshing fragrance instantly spread out from the Dan transformation pool. Under this fragrance, Tang Ao felt that all the fatigue in his body was swept away at this moment. After sensing this change, Tang Ao knew that there was no problem with his judgment. The passion herb was a kind of auxiliary spirit herb with the effect of promoting blood circulation and clearing blood stasis. Therefore, it was very suitable to use the passion herb in the pill transformation pool. After putting in the passion herb, Tang Ao also took out the 100 flower fruit that he used to refine the best quality vitality cultivating pill. In addition to the passion herb, the effect of using the 100 flower fruit in the pill transformation pool was also very good. It was not only Tang Ao who felt this way. The Shennong Emperor's alchemy notes also had such a record. Chapter 1576. Even if Tang Ao wanted to use the 100 flower fruit now, Tang Ao wouldn't just throw it into the pool. Although the 100 flower fruit could be used this way, the medicinal properties of the 100 flower fruit would also affect the medicinal properties of the pill. Some pills that didn't clash with the 100 flower fruit were better. If the attributes of the pills clashed, adding the 100 flower fruit would be meaningless and would greatly reduce the effect of the pool. So after Tang Ao took out the 100 flower fruit, he took out the Shennong cauldron. Back on the alchemy platform, Tang Ao had used the black rock alchemy furnace when refining elixirs. That was because if Tang Ao had used the Shennong cauldron directly, Tang Ao was worried that the Shennong Emperor would be coveted by others. At that time, Tang Ao was only at the 5th level of the body refining realm. If he met an origin martial realm martial artist who tried to snatch the Shennong cauldron, Tang Ao wouldn't be able to defend it. But now it was different. There was only Tang Ao here, and Tang Ao's cultivation had reached the 8th level of the body refining realm. At this time, Tang Ao naturally had no problem using the Shennong cauldron. Although a pill refiner's pill refining level and the cauldron they used didn't have much of an effect, Tang Ao had to admit that the Shennong cauldron was too suitable for refining pills. As the elixir transformation pool was filled with water, Tang Ao directly threw the 100 flower fruits into the Shennong cauldron to extract the medicinal liquid. The 100 flower fruit was indeed very suitable for the pill refining pool. However, because the 100 flower fruit had many ingredients, it had to be extracted before the essence of the 100 flower fruit could be drawn into the pill refining pool. In the previous alchemy conference, Tang Ao had spent a total of 7 days refining the 100 flower fruit's medicinal essence. But now, because of Tang Ao's increase in cultivation and Tang Ao's use of the Shennong cauldron, the impurities in the 100 flower fruit were being refined at a speed visible to the naked eye. If Tang Ao still had the spiritual grasses to refine the best quality essence augmenting pill, then Tang Ao would not have needed to go to this extent. However, the problem now was that Tang Ao did not have the spiritual herbs to refine the best quality vitality augmenting pill. Not only that, Tang Ao had not found the spiritual herbs to refine the best quality vitality augmenting pill in this bloody wasteland. Although Tang Ao and Xuehan had found the 3 treasure blood lotus not long ago, there was no guarantee that there was a spiritual herb that could be used to refine the supreme essence cultivating pill in this place. Therefore, Tang Ao was left with the last essence cultivating pill. Tang Ao had to make the most of it. As long as Tang Ao's cultivation could recover to the origin realm, the following things would be easy. However, with Tang Ao's understanding of the jade body of the Nine Dragons Emperor, Tang Ao felt that it would be extremely difficult to break into the origin realm with just the best quality vitality augmenting pill. Although he said that, Tang Ao was still looking forward to the best quality vitality augmenting pill in his heart. The process of extracting the 100-flower fruit was always slow. Even though Tang Ao's cultivation was quite a bit higher than before, and Tang Ao used one of the best cauldrons, the Shenong cauldron, to concoct the pill. However, it was clearly not an easy thing to extract the essence of the 100-flower fruit. Chapter 1577. After a few pill arts were shot out, Tang Ao thought of Lin Fan, who he met at the alchemy conference. Originally, Tang Ao wanted to use the Shenong Emperor's pill art to exchange for Lin Fan's pill art. But because of what happened on the concocting platform, Tang Ao couldn't find where Lin Fan was. But Tang Ao thought that with Lin Fan's performance on the concocting platform, he would most likely join the Dan Alliance. As long as he joined the Dan Alliance, finding Lin Fan shouldn't be a difficult matter. Although the Dan Alliance didn't protect him on the concocting platform, Tang Ao didn't have any hatred towards the Dan Alliance. Because the chaos back then happened too suddenly and after he was in danger, even Lin Ruchang, who wasn't feeling well, personally came out. But helplessly, the 9-star top-quality spirit-cultivating pill he concocted was too shocking. It actually attracted many Origin Realm martial artists to the concocting platform. Although Lin Ruchang's cultivation was decent, he was also at the first level of the Origin Realm. Although Lin Ruchang was stronger than other martial artists, his strength was limited. So, in that situation back then, although Lin Ruchang and the Vice Alliance Masters of the Dan Alliance helped out, he still fell into danger. Luckily, after Tang Ao's cultivation recovered to the 8th level of the body refining realm, Tang Ao had some power to protect himself in the hidden dragon cave. He didn't need the Dan Alliance's protection anymore. But after leaving, Tang Ao still had to go back to the Dan Alliance. Tang Ao felt that during the alchemy conference organized by the Dan Alliance, the alchemists outside the hidden dragon cave would come. That meant that the alchemists of the Dan Alliance should have connections with the powers outside the hidden dragon cave, or that the alchemists of the Dan Alliance could freely enter and exit the hidden dragon cave. Also, even if the normal alchemists of the Dan Alliance couldn't enter and exit the hidden dragon cave as they pleased, as the 7th elder of the Dan Alliance, could he not? When Tang Ao hid there to concoct pills, Xue Hen already arrived in a dense forest. Right now, Bloodscar was only at the 6th level of the body refining realm. But because he had many tricks up his sleeve, Bloodscar was very bold in traversing the forest. In Xue Hen's hand was a jade slip that recorded 12 types of spiritual herbs. These 12 kinds of spiritual herbs had a special characteristic, and that was that they were all gradeless spiritual herbs. Moreover, the gradeless spiritual herbs usually had a special characteristic, and that was that they were extremely rare. Bloodscar had been traversing through this forest for half a day, but he still hadn't found anything. Just as Bloodscar was about to go to another place to take a look, he suddenly raised an eyebrow. This was because Bloodscar smelled a very comfortable scent. The only scent that could make Bloodscar feel comfortable was the scent of fresh blood. However, he wasn't interested in all the bloodstains. On the contrary, he was very picky. If not for the fact that his strength was too weak, he would not have been interested in the blood qi essence of Yi Qian and the other man. After sensing this special blood qi, Xue Hen chased after the source of this blood qi. Everything was calm and silent in the cave abode. Only the 100 flower fruits that were being refined in the Shinnon cauldron made a sizzling sound. At this moment, the medicinal liquid essence of the 100 flower fruits had been completely refined by Tang Ao. At this moment, Tang Ao was removing the impurities from the medicinal liquid essence of the 100 flower fruits. Even though Tang Ao's cultivation had increased, and Tang Ao was using a top-notch alchemy furnace like the Shinnon cauldron this time, the medicinal liquid essence of the 100 flower fruits had been completely refined. Chapter 1578. That process continued for an entire day. Only then did Tang Ao's pitiful eyes open. In that day, Xue Hen didn't return, but Tang Ao wasn't worried. That was because Tang Ao left a soul brand on Xue Hen's body. If anything happened to Xue Hen or he was heavily injured, Tang Ao would be able to feel it immediately. From Tang Ao's perspective, although Xue Hen only had the strength of the 6th level of the body refinement realm, in this place, as long as he didn't encounter those terrifying high-level monsters, Xue Hen would be fine. Even a peak origin realm martial artist like Yang Miao wouldn't be able to catch Xue Hen so easily. Other than that, Xue Hen also had his Jade card. If Xue Hen encountered a problem he couldn't handle, he would definitely contact him. Since Xue Hen was fine and Tang Ao's 100 flower fruits essence was refined, naturally, Tang Ao had to raise his cultivation. This time, Tang Ao didn't refine the 100 flower fruits essence to 99% purity. He only refined it to 90% purity. This time, Tang Ao didn't just refine 100 flower fruit. He refined 10 at once. If he wanted to refine the 100 flower fruits essence to 99% purity, even Tang Ao didn't know how long he would need to do it. Also, this time, Tang Ao didn't use the 100 flower fruits essence to concoct pills. He only used it to guide the peak-quality spirit-cultivating pill's medicinal power. So, refining it to 90% purity was enough. Tang Ao's hand spewed out spirit qi. A spirit qi hand swept the 100 flower fruits essence out of the farmer god cauldron. Then, Tang Ao controlled the spirit qi hand and added the 100 flower fruits essence into the pill transformation pool. With the addition of the 100 flower fruits medicinal essence, the water in the pill transformation pond became even clearer and more transparent. At that time, Tang Ao took out several spirit herbs from his storage ring and threw them into the pool in an orderly manner. After doing all this, Tang Ao took out the best quality essence augmenting pill. Tang Ao waved his sleeves and the spirit array in the pill transformation pool quietly changed. Immediately, an entrance appeared in the pill transformation pool. Tang Ao raised his hand and accurately threw the essence nourishing pill into the gap. The moment the top-grade essence augmenting pill fell into the pill transformation pool's array formation, an astonishing wave of yuan qi suddenly erupted from the pill transformation pool. Tang Ao's face lit up when he felt this astonishing essence qi. It seemed that pills like the essence augmenting pill really needed a supplementary method like the pill transformation pool to bring out the greatest effect. Previously, Tang Ao had already taken 2 supreme-grade essence cultivating pills, but Tang Ao had never felt such a surging essence qi from the supreme-grade essence cultivating pills. After the pill transformation pool started to take effect, Tang Ao did not dare to waste the essence qi that surged out from the pill transformation pool. This was the last essence augmenting pill that Tang Ao had on him. If Tang Ao could not cultivate to the first level of the origin realm after taking this essence augmenting pill, then it was likely that Tang Ao would not have a chance to attack the origin realm in a short period of time. After immediately taking off his clothes, Tang Ao walked into the pill transformation pool. It was different from the warm and refreshing feeling he imagined. The seemingly calm water in the pill transformation pool, at that moment, was like needles pricking Tang Ao's skin. Although it was a bit painful, under the stimulation, some dark black blood also quietly flowed out from Tang Ao's body. Chapter 1579. Because of this, Tang Ao didn't even know that his body had accumulated so many internal injuries. After the black blood flowed out, Tang Ao instantly felt his body become much more relaxed. However, there were consequences. Although the existence of these internal injuries numbed Tang Ao's body to a certain extent, it also weakened Tang Ao's sense of pain. After the black blood flowed out, Tang Ao immediately felt waves of pain alternating between his soul and sea of soul. Sensing that something was wrong with his sea of soul and spirit, the countless faint green light spots of the jade bone life soul also surged into Tang Ao's sea of soul and spirit. Under the healing of the jade bone life soul, the pain weakened a little, but it didn't disappear. Tang Ao was very clear about his own injuries. Therefore, Tang Ao didn't care too much about it. At the moment, Tang Ao really didn't have any way to repair his sea of soul and spirit. Originally, he had some clues in the Xitigarbha cemetery, but after a series of accidents, Tang Ao directly came to the Flying Star continent. But even so, Tang Ao still had some thoughts about it. According to the records in the 100 Herb collection, Tang Ao knew that star flowers could repair his injuries. Moreover, star flowers were very easy to obtain. There were star flowers in the forest not far from Qing Yun village. Tang Ao decided that after leaving this place, he would move the forest with star flowers into the chaotic hexagram mirror space. After his sea of soul was repaired, Tang Ao's remembrance wouldn't be affected. In a situation where his remembrance wasn't affected, Tang Ao was 90% sure that he could help Blood Scar refine the 3 treasure blood lotus pill. In addition, Tang Ao also knew that the Kunlun flower existed in the depths of Evergreen Valley. The Kunlun flower was known as a holy healing item. If he could get the Kunlun flower, healing his injuries shouldn't be a problem. However, back then, Tang Ao saw from little spirits recording that there were Sea of Souls realm and even life and death realm demon beasts guarding the Kunlun flower. Originally, although Tang Ao desired the Kunlun flower, Tang Ao didn't have any effective methods to obtain it. However, now that he encountered Blood Scar, it was different. As long as Blood Scar's cultivation could recover, obtaining the Kunlun flower would be a piece of cake. Thinking of these things, Tang Ao didn't dare to be slow. Now, there was an endless amount of Yuan Qi spewing out from the pool, but this Yuan Qi wasn't limitless. If he did not seize the time to cultivate now, once the essence Qi in the pill transformation pool was exhausted, Tang Ao would not even have a place to cry. Thus, Tang Ao sat quietly in the pill transformation pool and activated the ancient god moving sky technique in his body. Compared to the ancient god moving heavens technique, Tang Ao felt that the 9 Dragons Emperor's jade body and the mysterious heaven method were more compatible. More interestingly, Tang Ao's mysterious heaven technique was the same as Blood Scar's technique. More interestingly, Tang Ao's mysterious heaven technique was the same as Blood Scar's technique. It only had the first and middle part, not the second part. Before, Tang Ao had seen the first part of the mysterious heaven technique in the ice and snow plains, but Tang Ao hadn't found any clues about the second part. If Tang Ao could find the complete mysterious heaven technique, Tang Ao was sure that the rank of the mysterious heaven technique was definitely higher than the ancient god moving Tian technique. However, since he could not find the complete mysterious heaven skill, Tang Ao could only cultivate the ancient god moving sky technique. After all, the ancient god moving Tian technique was a technique from the primal chaos 6 light mirror. Tang Ao didn't think it would be so simple. Chapter 1580. As Tang Ao absorbed this energy, Tang Ao's cultivation level also slowly increased. Not long after, Tang Ao broke through the shackles of the body refining realm level 8 and entered the body refining realm level 9. At this time, the surging energy in the pill refining pool still showed no signs of stopping. Tang Ao was overjoyed. He continued to absorb and refine this energy with all his might. Tang Ao sighed in his heart. The 2 supreme-grade essence cultivating pills that he had consumed previously were really a waste. The supreme-grade essence cultivating elixir was very different from other elixir pills. Because Tang Ao had the 9 Dragons Emperor's Jade body, he could directly absorb the surging essence chi of the supreme-grade essence cultivating elixir. But perhaps because Tang Ao had yet to recover from his serious injuries, after Tang Ao consumed the supreme-grade essence cultivating pill, Tang Ao could only absorb about 30% of the energy. Now, the yuan qi that was constantly gushing out of the Dan transformation pond was already more than the yuan qi that Tang Ao had absorbed and refined from the 2 best quality essence-enhancing pills. Moreover, at this time, the yuan qi that was gushing out of the Dan transformation pond did not show any signs of stopping. Tang Ao's hands formed several incomparably complicated hand seals. Immediately, the formation in the pill refining pool also changed. Following that, the speed at which the yuan qi in the Dan transformation pond circulated became even faster. Ordinary martial artists would never dare to crazily absorb the yuan qi like Tang Ao did. Because absorbing energy like this, if it was not refined in time, it could easily cause the energy to go berserk in the body. But Tang Ao was different from other martial artists. After this energy was refined by Tang Ao, it was also stored in Tang Ao's almost dried-up spirit sea. And compared to Tang Ao's huge spirit soul, this surging energy was really just a drop in the ocean. Therefore, in order to not waste the yuan qi, Tang Ao directly pushed the yuan qi in the pill transformation pool to the extreme. The effect of Tang Ao's method was very obvious. At that moment, Tang Ao's cultivation base was growing at a rate visible to the naked eye. If anyone else was shocked by this scene, they would definitely be shocked speechless. One had to know that even if countless martial artists cultivated their entire lives, hundreds or even thousands of years, they would not be able to cultivate to the 9th level of the body refining realm. However, Tang Ao only used a few days to leap from the 6th tier of the body refining realm to the early stage of the 9th tier. Furthermore, after breaking through to the early stages of the 9th level of the body refining realm, Tang Ao's cultivation showed no signs of stopping. It continued to rise. However, Tang Ao frowned. Because in Tang Ao's perception, the essence qi in the pill transformation pool had already begun to thin. Tang Ao could clearly feel that the essence qi in the pill transformation pool was decreasing. Although the decrease was very small, Tang Ao could still clearly feel it. This made Tang Ao a little worried. Because from the early stage of the body refining realm to the origin martial realm, the essence qi required was not decreasing, but increasing. Also, because of the 9 Dragons Emperor Jade body, the essence qi required was even more terrifying. But now, the essence qi that was surging out of the pill transformation pool had actually weakened. That meant that the peak quality essence cultivating pill's medicinal power had already been consumed by at least half. The medicinal power of the peak quality essence cultivating pill had already been consumed by half. But Tang Ao's cultivation base had only risen to the early stage of the body refining realm. In such a situation, without even thinking, Tang Ao knew that there was no hope of breaking through to the first level of the origin martial realm. Although it was like that, Tang Ao still did not give up. Because even if he could not break through to the first level of the origin martial realm, being able to break through to the peak of the body refining realm or the late stage of the body refining realm was still not bad. Chapter 1581. The cave was very quiet. There was not the slightest sound. The pill transformation pond's previously crystal clear water had now turned into a slightly dark blood-colored water. The dark black blood was accumulated in Tang Ao's body. During the process of cultivation, the body of every martial artist would continuously strengthen, but at the same time, they would also continuously get injured. Even if it was a normal martial artist, there would still be hidden injuries in their body. It was just that these hidden injuries were usually not easy to discover. Even when a martial artist died, they would not notice their existence. However, these hidden injuries would have a subtle influence on the martial artist's cultivation. Therefore, although these hidden injuries were often ignored by others, the harm they caused to a martial artist was not small. At this moment, after the hidden injuries in Tang Ao's body were gone, Tang Ao's entire body felt a lot more relaxed. No matter if it was the speed of the energy in his body or the perception of his body, Tang Ao felt that it was a lot better than before. At this moment, the energy in the elixir transformation pool was getting thinner and thinner. What made Tang Ao very disappointed was that not only did his cultivation not reach the first level of the origin realm, he also did not reach the peak of the 9th level of the body refining realm. Instead, he stopped at the middle stage of the 9th level of the body refining realm. This kind of cultivation was already not bad in the Flying Star continent. If it was one-on-one, Tang Ao believed that he could challenge any Origin Realm martial artist in the Flying Star continent without a problem. However, if many Origin Realm martial artists surrounded and attacked Tang Ao felt that his current strength was really not enough. If it was only a few Origin Realm martial artists, Tang Ao felt that it would not be a big problem. However, if many Origin Realm martial artists attacked Tang Ao at the same time, then no matter how strong Tang Ao was, his energy would be exhausted. After all, with Tang Ao's current cultivation, when fighting against Origin Realm martial artists, he would only have a slight advantage. He would not be able to obtain an overwhelming victory. When Tang Ao was cultivating in the cave, the energy that was dissipating from the elixir transformation pool was also transmitted to the outside world. A swarm of purple conch mosquitoes were attracted by this rich essence qi and flew towards the cave where Tang Ao was. Tang Ao had just come out of the pill transformation pool and put on his clothes, when Tang Ao felt something coming from the entrance of the immortal cave. Tang Ao immediately activated his sky polarity eyes and saw many purple mosquitoes circling the entrance of the cave. These purple mosquitoes would spit out a faint purple venom from their mouths. This light purple venom was very powerful. Tang Ao saw that after this venom was sprayed on the mountain wall by the purple conch mosquito, the hard rocks were actually corroded by this venom. Tang Ao secretly marveled at the fierceness of this venom. At the same time, Tang Ao was also somewhat puzzled as to why the purple conch mosquitoes were looking for him. Very quickly, Tang Ao sensed the essence qi that was still dissipating from the cave. Soon after, Tang Ao understood. Because the passion grass and 100-flower fruit were added in the elixir transformation pool, the essence qi also contained the aura of the 100-flower fruit and passion grass. However, these two auras were the ones that mosquitoes liked the most. So, after the essence qi dissipated from the cave, the purple conch mosquitoes that were wandering in the surroundings were immediately attracted. These purple conch mosquitoes were the size of soybeans and their bodies were around 5 times the size of normal mosquitoes. Under the investigation of the sky polarity eyes, Tang Ao discovered that within the purple conch mosquitoes, there was a purple crystal the size of a grain of rice. Also, from this purple crystal, Tang Ao felt dense soul power. Chapter 1582. But apart from soul crystal mines, in some very special demonic beasts and demonic insects, there was also the existence of soul crystals. But these demonic insects basically only existed in the ancient times. Now they were basically extinct. But at this moment, after Tang Ao saw the purple conch mosquitoes, Tang Ao still felt that the purple crystal inside the purple conch mosquitoes was very likely to be the legendary soul crystal. It was just that these purple conch mosquitoes were extremely powerful. Their flying speed was extremely fast, and they were extremely flexible. In addition, the venom in their mouths was even more impressive. Even rocks could be corroded, let alone the flesh and blood of human martial artists. At this moment, after these purple conch mosquitoes circled the cave for a while, they actually launched an attack towards the cave that Tang Ao was in. Only to see these purple conch mosquitoes suddenly flapping their wings and flying up in an orderly manner. Then, streaks of colored venom shot towards the trap and kill array that Tang Ao had set up at the cave entrance like a steel needle. This array that Tang Ao had set up, even a 9th-level body refining realm martial artist would find it difficult to destroy it with a single blow. But at this moment, under the wave of venom from these purple conch mosquitoes, the trap and kill array that Tang Ao had set up was immediately set ablaze. Under the gaze of Tang Ao saw with his own eyes that his trap and kill array had become riddled with holes under the venom of the purple conch mosquitoes. Seeing this scene, Tang Ao was secretly anxious in his heart. This cave only had one passage at the entrance. The other places were all thick mountain walls. So when these purple conch mosquitoes rushed in, if Tang Ao did not have any good countermeasures, then it would be bad for Tang Ao. And the development of the matter was exactly as Tang Ao had imagined. At the entrance of this cave, even a 9th-level body refining realm martial artist could resist the trap and kill for a moment. In front of these purple conch mosquitoes, it simply could not withstand a single blow. In less than 10 breaths of time, these purple conch mosquitoes had already smashed the trap and kill array at the entrance. After the trap and kill array was broken, the entire cave was exposed in front of these purple conch mosquitoes. At the same time, after the confinement killing array at the entrance of the cave abode was broken, the essence qi that pervaded the entire cave abode dissipated. After feeling the special yuan qi accompanied by the fragrance of the 100-flower fruit and passion grass, the surrounding purple conch mosquitoes immediately became spirited. They flew madly toward the cave where Tang Ao was. These purple conch mosquitoes at the entrance of the cave were even crazily flying toward Tang Ao as if they were injected with chicken blood. Looking at the purple conch mosquitoes flying towards him, Tang Ao didn't hesitate to summon his battle sage Bone Life Soul. With a flash of dazzling golden light, numerous mysterious runes formed a layer of soft golden armor on the surface of Tang Ao's body. After Tang Ao's cultivation level recovered, the life soul in Tang Ao's body was also strengthened. The previously dispirited battle sage Bone Life Soul also burst out with a resplendent golden light at this moment. Feeling the feeling of power flowing through his body, the depressed feeling that Tang Ao had because of these purple conch mosquitoes barging in instantly disappeared. Replacing it was Tang Ao's surging fighting spirit. During this period of time, Tang Ao's cultivation level was constantly rising, but until now, Tang Ao hadn't fought to his heart's content. Ha! Tang Ao let out a loud roar and immediately punched out violently. The powerful yuan qi instantly erupted, causing the surrounding mountain walls to vibrate and echo. However, Tang Ao's punch was really like a cannon hitting mosquitoes. Although it was incomparably powerful, it didn't cause much damage to these purple conch mosquitoes. Chapter 1583. Therefore, even if Tang Ao tried his best to dodge, there was still a lot of venom splashed on the battle sage Bone Life Soul. Then, Tang Ao was shocked to discover that the venom of these purple conch mosquitoes was terrifying. The battle sage Bone Life Soul instantly melted when the venom splashed on it. Although the Jade Bone Life Soul could repair itself, the light of the Jade Bone Life Soul had dimmed a lot. After Tang Ao retreated, these purple conch mosquitoes did not continue to pursue him. Instead, they plunged into the core pool water. Then, Tang Ao saw that the core pool was full of water was being absorbed by these purple conch mosquitoes at a speed visible to the naked eye. Before long, there were only a few leaves of the passion grass left in the core pool. However, after the purple conch mosquitoes sucked up the water in the core pool, they still had no intention of leaving. Instead, they gathered again and surrounded Tang Ao. Tang Ao was also secretly speechless when he saw this scene. The demonic insects and monsters in this blood-colored barrier were too strange. Whether it was the black fog monster and the skeleton from before or the purple conch mosquitoes now, Tang Ao found them very strange. This was because Tang Ao and Bloodscar left early and did not see the gold-devouring beetles. Otherwise, Tang Ao would find these things even stranger. However, it was obviously not the time for Tang Ao to sigh. These purple conch mosquitoes could easily destroy Tang Ao's trap and kill Array. Moreover, their venom had a strong corrosive effect on the battle sage bone life soul. Therefore, if Tang Ao did not have a way to restrain these purple conch mosquitoes, then Tang Ao could only run away quickly. However, it was not that easy for Tang Ao to escape now. This cave abode was built halfway up the mountain. Other than the entrance, it was surrounded by thick rock formations. Therefore, it was obviously not easy for Tang Ao to blast a passage with brute force. However, if he wanted to leave from the entrance, there were countless purple conch mosquitoes at the entrance. This was really a man sitting in a cave, but disaster came from the sky. Without much hesitation, Tang Ao decided to rush out of the entrance. Because under the observation of Tang Ao's sky-polar eyes, the surrounding mountain walls were terrifyingly thick. By the time he blasted a path through the mountain wall, he had lost count of how many times he had been attacked by the purple conch mosquitoes. With a thought, the green lotus sword soul was summoned by Tang Ao. A pale green lotus appeared in front of Tang Ao. After releasing a dazzling light, the lotus immediately transformed into 7 long swords with a cold glint circulating around them. Tang Ao made a sword gesture with his hand, and the 7 green lotus swords turned into 7 shadows and quickly rotated around Tang Ao. The sharp sword chi instantly pierced the entire Immortal's cave with thousands of holes. As for Tang Ao, under the double protection of the green lotus sword soul and the battle sage bone life soul, he flew toward the cave entrance. However, what Tang Ao did not expect was that after these sharp sword chi slashed on the purple conch mosquitoes, they would only deflect the flying purple conch mosquitoes a little. They could not cause any real damage. Most of the purple conch mosquitoes relied on their agile bodies to directly avoid Tang Ao's green lotus sword chi. Chapter 1584. After the battle sage bone life spirit also disappeared, Tang Ao was immediately exposed to the attacks of the purple conch mosquitoes. Luckily, Tang Ao had already left the cave and the surrounding space was spacious enough. Therefore, Tang Ao could also use his movement technique and dodge the venom of the purple conch mosquitoes. Tang Ao didn't believe that the purple conch mosquitoes could store so much venom in their bodies with just a nod. Immediately after, Tang Ao used the celestial polar eyes to scan the purple conch mosquitoes. Tang Ao saw that the purple conch mosquitoes actually absorbed the surrounding essence and converted it into venom in the poison sac. And this process happened very quickly. It could be said that every time the venom sprayed by the purple conch mosquitoes, it was instantly converted. In the poison sacs of the purple conch mosquitoes, there wasn't a large amount of venom that was often stored. After seeing this scene, Tang Ao felt very powerless, because in this way, the venom of the purple conch mosquitoes could be said to be endless. As long as there was essence in the surroundings, the venom of the purple conch mosquitoes was inexhaustible. And in this blood-colored spirit formation, everywhere was filled with essence. It could be said that as long as the purple conch mosquitoes weren't alone, they were an invincible existence. Compared to the black fog monster and the skeleton, the purple conch mosquitoes were clearly a bit more powerful. At this time, more and more purple conch mosquitoes also flew towards Tang Ao. Tang Ao looked at the gathering purple conch mosquitoes and didn't have any thoughts of continuing to stay. Right now, Tang Ao's cultivation had already risen to the middle stage of the 9th level of the body refinement realm, but in the dragon subduing crypt, he was already among the top experts. And Tang Ao's true strength, compared to the majority of Origin Realm martial artists, was only stronger and not weaker. After deciding to leave this place, Tang Ao wanted to find the bloodstains. But to Tang Ao's surprise, although he could still sense that the blood scar was in this space, Tang Ao couldn't sense its specific location. This meant that blood scar was extremely far away from him. If blood scar didn't actively use the soul remembrance token Tang Ao had given him to communicate with Tang Ao, then it really wouldn't be easy for Tang Ao to find blood scar. Forget it, let's go take a look at the Black Fog monster's battlefield. If he went to look for blood scar now, it would be troublesome to attract the purple conch mosquitoes, so Tang Ao decided to go to the place where the Black Fog monster and the skeleton fought. Tang Ao was still very interested in the crystals in the Black Fog monster's body, but Yang Miao had been restraining Tang Ao before, so Tang Ao didn't get many crystal fragments. Now that his strength had soared, Tang Ao naturally wanted to go over and investigate in detail. With a thought, Tang Ao was about to head over to the battlefield from before. But when he saw a swaying purple conch mosquito, Tang Ao immediately stopped. Tang Ao used heavenly polar pupils to look. This purple conch mosquito was normal and wasn't injured. But at this moment, this purple conch mosquito was stumbling and flying in the air in a swaying state, as if it was drunk. Thinking of being drunk, Tang Ao's eyes lit up and the heavenly polar pupils continued to investigate this purple conch mosquito. Immediately after, Tang Ao felt that this purple conch mosquito, for some reason, had absorbed the intoxicating pulp grass juice. Intoxicating syrup grass was a relatively common spirit grass. Its juice was a natural wine, but wanting to purify its juice was too difficult. Therefore, although there were some martial artists who liked this wine, not many people were willing to do such a thing. Of course, it was easier for pill masters to use pill refining methods to extract the juice from the intoxicating pulp grass, but not many pill masters were willing to do it. Chapter 1585. After noticing that this purple conch mosquito had absorbed the intoxicating pulp grass juice to become like this, Tang Ao had an idea. Tang Ao promptly took out 2 jars of spirit wine from his storage ring. With a jolt of his energy, the 2 jars of wine instantly shattered, filling the air with wine that scattered in all directions. However, completely different from what Tang Ao had imagined, the purple conch mosquito had no interest in this spirit wine. Tang Ao was somewhat speechless. Could it be that the drunk purple conch mosquito was a drunkard of the purple conch mosquito group that would get drunk, and the purple conch mosquito wasn't interested in spirit wine at all? Thinking of this, Tang Ao looked over at the swaying purple conch mosquito. Just now, it was because of this fellow that Tang Ao had figured out the reason why the purple conch mosquito liked to drink. However, what surprised Tang Ao was that when this purple conch mosquito faced the sky full of wine, it unexpectedly avoided it in disgust. As for the other purple conch mosquitoes, they didn't move at all, allowing the sky full of wine to fall on them. Although Tang Ao was somewhat puzzled, Tang Ao also had a new idea. It was possible that the purple conch mosquito only wanted the spirit wine extracted from the intoxicating pulp grass. Thinking of this, Tang Ao instantly used heavenly extreme pupils to investigate the surroundings. Since the purple conch mosquito was still in a drunken state, it meant that there was intoxicating pulp grass nearby. If it was a normal martial artist, even if they knew that there was intoxicating pulp grass nearby, it wouldn't be easy to find its location under a limited soul remembrance situation. However, Tang Ao, who had heavenly extreme pupils, was different. After using heavenly extreme pupils, all the movements in the wind and grass around him became incomparably clear in Tang Ao's eyes. Not long after, Tang Ao discovered that there really was intoxicating pulp grass nearby. However, what made Tang Ao not know whether to laugh or cry was that there was intoxicating pulp grass a kilometer diagonally behind him, but there was only one sprout. Moreover, Tang Ao was sure that the drunk purple conch mosquito had drunk the juice of the drunken pulp grass, because at this moment, the drunken pulp grass was about to wither. After hesitating for a moment, Tang Ao still flew in the direction of the drunken pulp grass. Since there was a stalk of drunken pulp grass here, it meant that there must be other drunken pulp grass clusters nearby. Otherwise, where did this drunken pulp grass come from in the first place? With that thought in mind, Tang Ao immediately flew towards the drunken pulp grass. At the same time, Tang Ao used his skypolarity pupils to scan his surroundings. This purple conch mosquito was extremely powerful, and the life spirit of a martial artist was completely restrained by it. Normally, a warrior's life spirit was the strongest technique they had. Once the life spirit was restrained, the warrior's combat strength would be greatly reduced. As Tang Ao flew in the direction of the drunken pulp grass with the purple conch mosquito swarm, the instant he passed by the drunken pulp grass, Tang Ao saw that there were indeed a few purple conch mosquitoes attracted by the aura of the drunken pulp grass. They flew towards the drunken pulp grass and immediately sucked on it fiercely. The drunken pulp grass that was just a little withered just now had directly withered to death. Tang Ao was secretly speechless when he saw this, but Tang Ao was also somewhat happy in his heart. This was because now Tang Ao was sure that the purple conch mosquitoes really liked the juice of the drunken pulp grass. However, what made Tang Ao somewhat helpless was that even with the skypolarity pupils, it was not easy to find the drunken pulp grass in the surroundings. Tang Ao discovered quite a number of spirit grasses in the surroundings, and there was even no lack of rare spirit grasses. Chapter 1586. However, Tang Ao quickly rejected this idea. The intoxicating pulp grass was a very common spiritual grass. In a year, it could be harvested for 6 seasons, in other words, it could be sown for 6 seasons. If this spiritual grass became extinct, then other spiritual grasses would also not have the possibility of existing. But now this intoxicating pulp grass, which could be seen everywhere in other places, could not be found here. This made Tang Ao very depressed. But even though he was depressed, Tang Ao's speed was also constantly increasing. Tang Ao found that although these purple conch mosquitoes were very flexible in the air, but their flying speed was not that fast. Now that Tang Ao was flying at full speed, these purple conch mosquitoes could only follow behind Tang Ao from a distance. Looking at these purple conch mosquitoes chasing after him, Tang Ao was also somewhat puzzled. What was on his body that attracted these purple conch mosquitoes? Was it because he had absorbed the essence qi in the Dan transformation pond? Tang Ao's guess was completely correct, although the purple conch mosquitoes would attack all living things that were not of the same species, but this time the purple conch mosquitoes were really attracted by the essence qi in the Dan transformation pond. Previously, Tang Ao had added the 100 fragrant grass and the 100 flower fruit essence into the Dan transformation pond, so the essence qi in the Dan transformation pond was also wrapped in this kind of aura. After the essence qi in the Dan transformation pond dissipated, it naturally attracted these purple conch mosquitoes. In fact, it was not only the purple conch mosquitoes that were attracted, there were also some other monstrous insects and monstrous beasts, and even 2 martial artists. But including the 2 martial artists, these things were all killed by the purple conch mosquitoes on the way, so the last thing that Tang Ao saw were the purple conch mosquitoes. Is that the heavy yang fruit? After flying for some distance, Tang Ao still did not find any trace of the intoxicating pulp grass. Moreover, what made Tang Ao speechless was that he even found the heavy yang fruit, a very rare spiritual grass, but the intoxicating pulp grass, which was commonly seen, was not found here. Although Tang Ao didn't need to refine the heavy yang pill, Tang Ao still flew over quickly. After seeing the 9 pale gold chongyang fruits growing on the tree, Tang Ao gave up on the idea of picking them. Instead, he threw out a few array flags. These array flags accurately landed around the Chongyang fruit tree. Then, with a thought from Tang Ao, the entire Chongyang fruit tree, including the surrounding soil, was sent into the primal chaos hexagram mirror space by Tang Ao. Soon after, Tang Ao's soul remembrance glanced at the primal chaos 6 light mirrors space. After confirming that nothing abnormal had happened to the heavy yang fruit tree, Tang Ao began to continue running. While escaping, Tang Ao felt a little strange. Tang Ao had flown a long distance away from the cave dwelling, but after flying for such a long distance, Tang Ao could still vaguely feel that the distance between him and Bloodscar had not changed much. This meant that Bloodscar was in the same situation as him, either being chased by something or escaping at full speed. Or it was chasing something at full speed. Because Bloodscar's current strength was neither too high nor too low, Tang Ao felt that both situations were possible. Moreover, it was more likely that it was an expert. Of course, there was one last possibility, which was that Bloodscar wanted to play a trick while he was cultivating, intentionally distancing himself from him in order to endlessly weaken the soul remembrance imprint's influence on him. Thinking of this, Tang Ao instantly felt that this possibility was the highest. Chapter 1587. In reality, this time, Bloodscar really did think like that. However, what he never would have thought was that because of the appearance of the purple conch mosquitoes, Tang Ao was actually chased by the purple conch mosquitoes towards his direction. What made Bloodscar even more speechless was that along the way, Tang Ao had almost turned into a cloud of blood mist as he ran. But even so, he did not widen the distance between him and Tang Ao. Bloodscar knew that Tang Ao had the wind thunder dark cloud, a method with astonishing speed. However, Bloodscar was sure that Tang Ao absolutely did not use the wind thunder dark cloud. Otherwise, it wouldn't have taken so long. The distance between Tang Ao and him had not been shortened, and Tang Ao had always been following not too far behind. At the back, Tang Ao also thought of using the wind thunder dark cloud. However, the reason why Tang Ao wanted to use the wind thunder dark cloud was not to chase after Bloodscar, but to get rid of the purple conch mosquitoes that were closely following him. But along with Tang Ao's understanding of the purple conch mosquitoes, Tang Ao felt that the purple conch mosquitoes were not that scary. Also, Tang Ao was very interested in the soul crystals within the purple conch mosquitoes. Tang Ao was thinking about the purple conch mosquitoes, but the other martial artists were truly tormented by the purple conch mosquitoes. Ever since the origin crystal shards in the Miasma Canyon were spread out, this unremarkable canyon instantly became the focal point of the Hidden Dragon Crypt and even the entire Flying Star continent. There was no other reason, it was because treasures like origin crystal shards were too shocking. 3 shocking things happened in total. First, after the Alliance Master of the Flying Star Alliance, Lu Chuanjia, used the origin crystal shards to cultivate, his cultivation, which had been stagnant for almost 1,000 years, suddenly broke through the shackles of the Flying Star continent. Lu Chuanjia's cultivation reached the 2nd level of the origin martial realm, which no one had ever seen before or since. When Lu Chuanjia was at the 1st level of the origin martial realm, he was already an invincible existence. Now that he broke through to the 2nd level of the origin martial realm, he was invincible within invincible. Before, the Supreme Elder of the Dan Alliance, Hua Yuan, could still challenge Lu Chuanjia. But now, after Lu Chuanjia broke through to the 2nd level of the origin realm, the Dan Alliance's Hua Yuan could only avoid him. However, there were also martial artists who said that Hua Yuan was also using origin crystals to break through to the 2nd level of the origin realm. It was very possible that Hua Yuan could also break through the shackles of the Flying Star continent and reach the 2nd level of the origin realm. The second thing was that after Lu Chuanjia's cultivation broke into the 2nd level of the origin realm, his only son, Lu Xingjin, also broke into the first level of the origin realm. Moreover, just like in the past, Lu Xingjin had always been invincible among those of the same level as him. After Lu Xingjin's cultivation broke through to the first level of the origin realm, 10 origin realm experts on the Hidden Dragon leaderboard were consecutively defeated by Lu Xingjin. The entire Flying Star continent was shaken by the news of the two incidents. Zhu Jiu, who was on his way to the Hidden Dragon Cave, only wanted to kill all the warriors in charge of guarding the Hidden Dragon Cave in the Dragon Prison Castle when he found out about this. In these 1,000 years, it was the Dragon Prison Castle's turn to take over the Hidden Dragon Cave. In other words, it was the time for the Dragon Prison Castle to explore the Hidden Dragon Cave. However, the trash stationed in the Hidden Dragon Cave didn't find any useful information in these 1,000 years. Instead, because of Xiao Yu's matter, they even caused trouble. If he wasn't coincidentally nearby, the Hidden Dragon Cave would have been in complete chaos. Because of that, he was mocked by a few other old guys for a long time. However, he didn't care because he accepted Xiao Yu as his adopted son. Chapter 1588. But now, Tang Ao had already been roped in by the Alchemy Alliance. Due to the special cultivation method of the Dragon Prison Castle, the demand for high-level pills was very high. If a powerful alchemist like Tang Ao joined them, the strength of the Dragon Prison Castle would increase by quite a bit. But now, according to the latest news Zhu Jiu received, Tang Ao escaped with heavy injuries under the joint attack of Yang Miao and Han Yen. Father, I heard that Lu Chuanjia has already broken through to the second level of the origin martial realm. Is that true? Xiao Yu, who was next to Zhu Jiu, couldn't help but ask. I can feel a clear increase in my cultivation after using that crystal. Lu Chuanjia has been stuck at the peak of the first level of the origin martial realm for 1,000 years. Even without the crystal, he can most likely break through to the second level of the origin martial realm. But this time, with the opportunity of the crystal, the time has been brought forward. After entering the Hidden Dragon Cave, just do your best to find Tang Ao. An alchemist who can refine a 9-star top-quality vitality nurturing pill is definitely a talent, Zhu Jiu said to Xiao Yu after thinking for a while. Tang Ao, who was still searching for the drunken pulp grass all over the world, naturally didn't know that he was being watched. Also, there were many people who had their eyes on Tang Ao. Other than the cultivators on the alchemy platform, almost all of the 8 overlord forces of the Flying Star continent had their eyes on Tang Ao. One reason was that Tang Ao could refine a 9-star top-quality vitality nurturing pill. The other reason was that Tang Ao had some secret in his body that allowed him to directly consume a top-quality vitality nurturing pill. One had to know that even the number 1 person in the Flying Star continent, Lu Chuanjia, could only consume the most ordinary 1-star top-quality vitality nurturing pill. Moreover, after consuming it, Lu Chuanjia had to meditate for a while to dissolve the pill's aura. But not long ago, many cultivators saw Tang Ao directly consume a 9-star top-quality vitality nurturing pill on the Flying Star continent. Because the effects of the elixir pools of the major forces on the Flying Star continent weren't ideal, these people felt that directly consuming a top-quality vitality nurturing pill would allow them to absorb more energy. If Tang Ao knew what these people were thinking, he would definitely be depressed. The reason why Tang Ao directly swallowed a top-grade essence nourishing pill was also a rash decision made in a moment of desperation. If Tang Ao had known that the essence energy contained in the supreme-grade essence cultivating pill was so terrifying, then Tang Ao would not have wasted the supreme-grade essence cultivating pill like that. If Tang Ao's 3 peak quality raising spirit pellets were all absorbed by Tang Ao's Dan transformation pond, then most likely, Tang Ao would have broken into the first level of the origin realm. Because he had wasted 2 supreme-grade essence cultivating pills back then, Tang Ao's current cultivation level was still at the middle stage of the body refining realm. After his cultivation reached the origin realm, there were even more methods that Tang Ao could use. At the same time, Tang Ao did not need to be afraid of being intercepted by many origin realm martial artists. But right now, Tang Ao's cultivation was only at the middle stage of the body refining realm, so Tang Ao could only be a bit more careful. At this time, if there were only 2 or 3 origin realm martial artists, Tang Ao could still handle it. But if there were more than 3, Tang Ao would most likely not be able to bear the consequences. Just as Tang Ao was thinking about these things, Tang Ao's eyes suddenly lit up, because Tang Ao discovered that there was a small pond not far away. And around the pond, there were patches of drunken pulp grass of different height. After seeing the drunken pulp grass, Tang Ao was elated in his heart. He extended his body and hurriedly approached that place. Chapter 1589. Immediately after, an ancient and mysterious hexagram mirror appeared out of thin air and fell into the pool. Of course, the intoxicating grass didn't disappear for no reason. Tang Ao had used a formation to move it into the chaotic hexagram mirror space. If there were warriors around, Tang Ao naturally wouldn't dare to enter the chaotic hexagram mirror space. But these purple conch mosquitoes didn't matter much. No matter how powerful these purple conch mosquitoes were, they couldn't refine the chaotic hexagram mirror. Although their venom was very corrosive, Tang Ao still didn't believe that their venom could corrode the chaotic hexagram mirror. Not to mention these purple conch mosquitoes, when Tang Ao died in his previous life, even if the divine light from the outer heavens struck the primal chaos 6 light mirror, it wouldn't leave a single mark on it. Moreover, Tang Ao faintly felt that the primal chaos 6 light mirror should be in a dormant state. Otherwise, in his previous life, if Magnetite had dared to attack the primal chaos 6 light mirror with the divine light of outer heaven, the primal chaos 6 light mirror might have made Magnetite suffer. At this moment, Tang Ao had arrived in the chaotic hexagram mirror space. Inside the chaotic hexagram mirror was the Chongyang fruit tree and a large field of intoxicating grass that Tang Ao had just moved in. There was a lot of intoxicating grass, more than 500 stalks. But this time, there were also a lot of purple conch mosquitoes following Tang Ao. Preliminary estimates put the number at least 10,000. 10,000 purple conch mosquitoes were 10,000 soul crystals. Thinking of this, Tang Ao had some expectations. These purple conch mosquitoes weren't easy to deal with using ordinary methods, but since they liked the juice of the intoxicating grass, it was much easier. Tang Ao waved his hand and a pile of red stones in a corner of the chaotic hexagram mirror space flew over. These red stones were a type of 6th grade spiritual material called scarlet flame stone. It was collected by Tang Ao in the ice plane. The attribute of the scarlet flame stone was just like its name, it was an extreme yang attribute. The purple conch mosquitoes were a kind of demon insect with a yin attribute. Therefore, as long as the juice of the intoxicating syrup grass was extracted and mixed with the powder of the scarlet flame stone, the purple conch mosquitoes would immediately explode and die. At the same time, the soul crystal would naturally drop. With so many soul crystals, Tang Ao felt that he didn't need to use the stellar flower to repair his jade bone life soul and then use it to repair his soul sea. Just by using these soul crystals, there was a high chance that he could repair his soul sea. After his soul sea was repaired, Tang Ao could immediately start refining pills for the blood scar. As long as Xue Hen's cultivation recovered to the second level of the origin realm, Tang Ao and Xue Hen could truly do whatever they wanted in that place. But right now, Tang Ao did not know that the Alliance Master of the Flying Star Alliance, Lu Chuanjia, had already cultivated to the second level of the origin realm with the help of the origin crystal shards. Moreover, that was not the most terrifying thing. The most terrifying thing was that Shi Yun was currently holding a piece of origin crystal in his hand, and his eyes were flashing with a fiery light. These idiot! How is this a origin crystal? This is a star origin stone that contains star origin power. Sure enough, the rumored divine King Yun Xing fell in this place. These star origin stones being used by these people like this is truly a reckless waste of natural resources. Now let's go and collect these star origin stones. They will be of great use in the future. As Shi Yun spoke, a burst of special undulations spread out from his body and wrapped around Shaoli, who was beside him. When Shaoli opened his eyes again, he had already arrived in the blood-colored space. This scene shocked Shaoli to the point that he was speechless. Shaoli knew how far the poison miasma canyon was from the Qin Yun village. Under his full speed, Shaoli spent 5 days to return from the poison miasma canyon to the Qin Yun village. But at this moment, in a blink of an eye, he had actually arrived at the poison miasma canyon from the Qin Yun village. Chapter 1590. Wisps of black cyclones floated up and down aimlessly. Everything in the surroundings was also turbid and indistinct. This was the small world in the chaotic 6 light mirror. Tang Ao had obtained the chaotic 6 light mirror for a long time, but Tang Ao had not explored the space in the chaotic 6 light mirror in depth. This was because Tang Ao realized that if he couldn't completely refine the primal chaos hexagram mirror, he would only be able to move around in this small area. This area was actually not small. It was as big as the 10 alchemy squares of the Elixir Guild. However, Tang Ao could sense that compared to the entire space in the chaotic 6 light mirror, the area he could move in now was just a drop in the ocean. Even though he had obtained the chaotic 6 light mirror for a long time, Tang Ao still did not know much about it. It could even be said that he knew nothing about it. In other words, Tang Ao had only used the chaotic 6 light mirror in a very superficial manner. However, Tang Ao had no clue about its true use. Tang Ao knew that the chaotic 6 light mirror seemed to have a weak intelligence. However, this intelligence was very low, or it was in a state of deep sleep. Because of this, the chaotic 6 light mirror would only intervene when Tang Ao needed help. Just like when Tang Ao had first started cultivating, Tang Ao had still been hesitating about whether to cultivate the mysterious heaven skill from his previous life. At this time, the powerful ancient god moving sky technique had appeared in the chaotic 6 light mirror. Later, when Tang Ao's understanding of life souls was unclear, the heaven divination record, a treasure that could advance life souls, appeared. Although Tang Ao had not used the heaven divination record for a long time after his consecutive injuries, Tang Ao would not ignore the help it could provide him. Then, there was the 100 herb collection that had appeared not long ago. Usually, the chaotic 6 light mirror would not take the initiative to communicate with Tang Ao, and Tang Ao could not contact the chaotic 6 light mirror. However, when Tang Ao was in urgent need, the chaotic 6 light mirror would provide some help. However, Tang Ao had not yet figured out where the chaotic 6 light mirror, such as the ancient god moving sky technique, and the 100 herb collection, had come from. Within Tang Ao's current range of contact, the space within the primal chaos hex light mirror was empty. Although there was a primal aura drifting about, Tang Ao could not use this primal aura. Right now, the primal chaos 6 light mirror was more like an emergency shelter for Tang Ao and a storage spiritual artifact with a huge space. At the moment, Tang Ao had already set up rows of pill furnaces in the chaotic hexagram mirror space. These pill furnaces had been refined by Tang Ao in the black-yellow continent and the snow plains. This kind of pill furnace didn't have any effect when used in the Primal Chaos 6 Lights mirror, but once taken out of the Primal Chaos 6 Lights mirror, this pill furnace would immediately become useless. Apart from the first time, Tang Ao also discovered that he could use the supreme grade spirit stones to cultivate in the chaotic 6 light mirror. However, the spirit energy from the supreme-grade spirit stones would disappear without a trace the moment it left the chaotic 6 light mirror and entered the flying star continent. Chapter 1591. However, as a powerful alchemist with half a foot in the ranks of alchemist immortals, Tang Ao naturally could not simply extract the juice of the intoxicating pulp grass like ordinary people. Tang Ao wanted to extract the essence of the intoxicating pulp grass. After that, he would fuse it with the powder of the scarlet flame stone. This would be a good way to deal with the purple conch mosquitoes. Apart from that, Tang Ao really did not have any special methods to deal with the purple conch mosquitoes. On the bloody wasteland, more and more warriors came to this place. Everyone's expectations were completely correct. After Lu Chuanjia, the great elder of the Alchemy Guild, Hua Yuan, also broke through the shackles of the Flying Star continent using the Origin Crystal and became the second native warrior to cultivate to the second level of the Origin Martial Realm. This had a very big impact on the entire Flying Star continent. As the explosive news spread one after another, the entire Flying Star continent was boiling. For a moment, the previously unknown hidden dragon crypt was exposed in front of the entire continent's forces. Before this, only the 8 overlord forces of the Flying Star continent, the Alchemy Guild, the 9-color Chamber of Commerce, and the golden-seeking pavilion knew of the existence of the hidden dragon crypt. But now, even the 8 overlord forces could no longer keep the news under wrap. After all, the news that was spreading out was simply too shocking. Under the pressure of all realms, the hidden dragon crypt was forced to open to the warriors of the Flying Star continent. Countless warriors came from all over and poured into the hidden dragon crypt. The warriors who were originally imprisoned in the hidden dragon crypt were naturally divided into 2 groups at this time. Some of the warriors took this opportunity to escape the hidden dragon crypt, while the other rushed to the Miasma Canyon. Whether it was the Flying Star continent or the hidden dragon crypt, they still had to cultivate. Since they had to cultivate, they naturally needed cultivation resources. Although the hidden dragon crypt was a bit oppressive and not that free, no one dared to deny that the Evergreen Valley in the hidden dragon crypt was probably the place with the most abundant cultivation resources in the entire Flying Star continent. Now that the Origin Crystal was found in the Miasma Canyon, more and more warriors were deeply attracted by it. One had to know that the Flying Star Alliance's leader, Lu Chuanjia, had been stuck at the first level of the Origin Martial Realm for 1,000 years. But now, with the help of the Origin Crystal, Lu Chuanjia had broken through the first level of the Origin Martial Realm and became a never-before-seen second-level warrior. As for the changes in the outside world, and the fact that countless warriors had entered the hidden dragon cave, Tang Ao was still completely unaware. At this moment, Tang Ao was still in the chaotic 6 light mirror space. In front of Tang Ao were 12 grade 6 pill furnaces. At this moment, an intoxicating aroma of wine wafted out from these pill furnaces. This smell was naturally the fragrance of the intoxicating syrup grass. Ordinary people would directly crush and grind the intoxicating syrup grass to extract its juice. However, Tang Ao was able to extract the intoxicating syrup grass's medicinal liquid essence according to the steps of extracting the spiritual grass's medicinal liquid essence. As a result, the smell of the intoxicating pulp grass became even stronger. Tang Ao's hands continuously formed several pill techniques, and the 12 pill furnaces slowly opened. Chapter 1592. Under the calcination of the alchemy fire, the scarlet flame stone immediately broke into pieces. At this time, Tang Ao also increased the temperature of the alchemy fire. Immediately, the broken pieces continued to change, and very quickly, they turned into a dark red powder. The scarlet flame stone was not a poisonous spiritual material. In fact, no matter what spiritual material it was mixed with, the scarlet flame stone would not be poisonous. Now, the reason why Tang Ao wanted to add the scarlet flame stone to the intoxicating pulp grass juice to deal with the purple conch mosquitoes was also because of the principle of attribute restriction. After refining all the scarlet flame stone into powder, Tang Ao mixed the powder of the scarlet flame stone with the essence of the intoxicating pulp grass juice. Then, the originally crystal clear intoxicating pulp grass juice essence turned light red, but there was still no change in the smell. Tang Ao gathered all the intoxicating pulp grass juice essence together, filling up a large cauldron. Now that everything was ready, Tang Ao naturally prepared to go out and deal with the purple conch mosquitoes. Under the investigation of Tang Ao's sky polar eyes, at this moment, the number of purple conch mosquitoes circling the small pond had been reduced by about half. After seeing that half of the purple conch mosquitoes were gone, Tang Ao secretly thought that this was good. After all, one purple conch mosquito was equivalent to one soul crystal. Now that half of the purple conch mosquitoes were gone, it meant that half of the soul crystal was gone. At the same time, while sighing in his heart, Tang Ao also sent out the large cauldron filled with the essence of the intoxicating pulp grass juice. Suddenly, a large water ball appeared on the surface of the water, and this water ball was wrapped in a large bronze cauldron. Under Tang Ao's control, the bronze cauldron flew to the side of the open space, after which the water ball broke, and an intoxicating fragrance instantly spread out. Under this fragrance, all the surrounding purple conch mosquitoes instantly went crazy. The overwhelming number of purple conch mosquitoes immediately flew towards the large bronze cauldron and began to suck the essence of the intoxicating pulp grass. Although Tang Ao was still in the chaotic hexagram mirror, Tang Ao could clearly see his surroundings with his sky polar eyes. Seeing the purple conch mosquitoes begin to suck the intoxicating pulp grass's essence, Tang Ao felt relieved. These purple conch mosquitoes were too strange. They could completely suppress a warrior's life soul, so Tang Ao could only avoid them and use this method to deal with them. But not all martial artists could have such good luck as Tang Ao, and not all groups of purple conch mosquitoes just happened to have a purple conch mosquito that had sucked the juice of the intoxicating pulp grass. In fact, in the colony of purple conch mosquitoes could often be seen sucking on the juice of the intoxicating syrup grass. This was because the purple conch mosquitoes seemed to have a special preference for the juice of the intoxicating pulp grass. As long as they found the intoxicating pulp grass, they would inevitably go and absorb its juice. However, although many martial artists could detect the smell of alcohol on the purple conch mosquitoes, very few people could recognize that this was the juice of the intoxicating pulp grass. In other areas of the Scarlet Wasteland, many martial artists were frantically fleeing from the purple conch mosquitoes. Currently, in the Scarlet Wasteland, there were 4 kinds of monsters: skeletons, black fog monsters, purple conch mosquitoes, and gold-devouring insects. Among them, the skeletons and gold-devouring insects were the most useless. Although the skeletons did not have them, they were still easy to deal with. However, the gold-devouring insects could even bite and devour a martial artist's spirit artifact. The martial artists that died in the mouths of the gold-devouring insects would not even have their bones left. Chapter 1593. Immediately after, a hanging eyes white-fronted tiger swayed as it walked out from the dense forest, then with a rumble, it smashed onto the ground. Until its death, the hanging eyes white-fronted tiger did not understand. It had always been the one biting people. Why was it the one being bitten this time? Also, the guy that bit it was quite powerful. With just one bite, all of its strength disappeared. Next to the pond, Tang Ao's expression suddenly changed. Originally, after the purple conch mosquitoes finished sucking the juice of the intoxicating pulp grass, Tang Ao could go out and collect the soul crystals, because at that moment, soul crystals had already fallen to the ground beside the pond. Just like what Tang Ao imagined, after sucking the intoxicating pulp grass, the purple conch mosquitoes exploded in the air one after another like fireworks. So, at that moment, soul crystals had already fallen to the ground around the pond. But what Tang Ao never expected was that someone would come at that moment. And the person who came at that moment was the person that Tang Ao did not want to see the most, Shi Yun. Xiao Yu was following beside Shi Yun. At that moment, Xiao Yu's cultivation had actually risen to the second level of the origin martial realm. This made Tang Ao greatly shocked. But when Tang Ao looked at Shi Yun, Tang Ao discovered that there was still not a bit of origin qi on Shi Yun's body. But at that moment, there was a special spiritual aura undulation around Shi Yun's body. In the instant that Tang Ao looked at Shi Yun, a trace of brilliance flashed through Shi Yun's eyes. "Who are you, little rascal?" A majestic and vast aura swept out from Shi Yun's body, and the surrounding shrubs were pushed back by this powerful aura. And Shi Yun seemed to have felt Tang Ao's position. His powerful domain pressed towards the pond. Tang Ao was greatly shocked in his heart. Tang Ao already knew that this brat was not to be trifled with. So, even after staying in Qing Yun village for so long, Tang Ao did not dare to provoke him. What Tang Ao did not expect was that even though he did not provoke Shi Yun still came to find him. If Tang Ao had known that Shi Yun had already arrived here, why would he have wasted his time here to collect the Bulsh *T soul crystals? Previously, when Tang Ao entered the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror space, it was because Tang Ao had carefully investigated the surroundings and found no other martial artists, only purple conch mosquitoes. However, how could Tang Ao have imagined that not only would a martial artist arrive, but it would also be Shi Tianyun? Feeling the incomparably overbearing aura sweeping over, Tang Ao knew that this guy had been pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Although Shi Tianyun's body did not have any fluctuation of essence qi, and it was impossible to determine Shi Tianyun's cultivation. However, Shi Yunyun's peerlessly overbearing domain made Tang Ao understand that even if Tang Ao's cultivation recovered to the origin realm, when he saw Shi Yunyun, he would still have to take a detour. But now, even if Tang Ao wanted to avoid Shi Yunyun, it was too late. Because Shi Yunyun's domain had already covered the entire pool, moreover, it was pressing down towards the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror below the pool. Tang Ao secretly said in his heart, "My life is over." What level of treasure was the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror, Tang Ao was not very clear. However, Tang Ao knew that the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror was absolutely a treasure among treasures. Once Shi Yunyun discovered the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror, he would immediately refine it. Then, Tang Ao, who was inside the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror, would naturally die. If Tang Ao appeared at this time, he would most likely be implanted with a soul brand or directly killed. Just when Tang Ao did not know what to do, the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror burst out a vast and ancient and valiant aura. Chapter 1594. The unforeseen event in front of them proved Shi Yun's words. As Shi Yun's direct descendant, Xiao Yu was well aware of how strong his master was. Therefore, when he saw Shi Yun suddenly vomiting blood and getting injured, Xiao Yu became very nervous. "May I know which senior is cultivating here?" Shi Yun forcibly suppressed the surging blood and qi in his body and vigilantly stared at the pool and asked. Tang Ao was startled by the unforeseen event a moment ago. However, after hearing Shi Yun's words, Tang Ao immediately recovered. It seemed that after the Primal Chaos hexagram mirror shattered Shi Yun's domain, Shi Yun thought that it was the doing of a hidden powerhouse. In other words, because his domain was inexplicably shattered, Shi Yun now mistook Tang Ao for a top-notch powerhouse. After thinking this through, Tang Ao immediately said in a cold voice, "Get lost." After saying "get lost," Tang Ao did not take any action because Tang Ao was very worried at this time. If Tang Ao managed to subdue Shi Tingyun, then it would be fine. However, if he failed to subdue Shi Tingyun, and Shi Tingyun insisted on exploring the pool, then Tang Ao would definitely die. Fortunately, Shi Lianyun was really scared just a moment ago. Seeing the soul crystals all around, Shi Lianyun was very excited. However, Shi Lianyun did not understand why the purple conch mosquitoes would explode and produce soul crystals all over the place. Later, after the domain was suppressed by the primal chaos hexagram mirror, Shi Yun became even more afraid. Shi Yun knew that because he was an outsider, he was suppressed by the laws of the Flying Star Continent. However, Shi Yun was sure that a top-notch powerhouse had appeared in the Flying Star Continent. Otherwise, there would not be so many immortal tools and relics left behind. After hearing Tang Ao's cold shout, Shi Yun's expression became somewhat surprised. However, Shi Yun hesitated for a moment and decided to retreat. There were many good things in the Evergreen Valley, but he had not fully explored them. Moreover, Shi Yun knew that the most precious treasures in the Flying Star Continent were the 8 falling star tokens. Therefore, there was no need to recklessly fight with a fellow whose strength was unknown. Moreover, Shi Tianyun felt that his strength was being suppressed without limit in this place. He could not even deal with a native of the Flying Star Continent who was in the first level of the Turbid Heaven state. As for the fellow hiding in the pool, Shi Yun was unable to figure out his strength. However, Shi Yun felt that this guy's strength was definitely not weak, judging from the way he had shattered his domain a moment ago. Thinking of this, Shi Tianyun no longer hesitated. Goodbye. After saying this, Shi Yun left very cautiously. If it was before, Shi Yun might have carefully examined it. However, Shi Yun no longer felt the need to do so. Now that Shi Yun had gained insight into the mysteries of the Falling Star tokens, as long as he could obtain the 8 pieces of the Falling Star tokens, he would be able to absorb and refine all the celestial essence force dissipating throughout the entire Flying Star Continent. That's right, the Yuan Qi all over the Flying Star Continent was not really the Yuan Qi of a low-level plane, but the Yuan Qi of the fallen Star King after his death. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.